It was very tax. That was keeping over.
Yeah. You just, they just do them all separate, but they're all made.
Oh, it's.
And when the order said I can't do it because I can't do it so much shit.
Pretty strong.
Not on video.
It's how I want to just pretty much you go fly so that. Randy from me. Yeah.
No, there's to.
Yeah, like I said, like.
Yeah.
Matt's done it except for one time way back when we trained, but.
But I'll send you that. That's easier.
Yeah, I know. Rain, snow. I'm careful, somebody calls it, I'm real careful, and don't break my.
I want to be muted. It says, when I click mute,
And I printed everything else because I didn't.
We got the damn paper plates.
Edwards, supposed to get into.
Right.
I know.
They're right. I can do it. Yeah, that's, you know, it's not a question. I'm looking forward. Certainly. Or no, Daniel. That's very, very report. And yes.
You don't have the photo your extension?
That's a full.
What's that? No. I don't know if you have it, but I don't.
I don't know if there ever was one.
And the ones that we were supposed to get into it.
He has them all written down somewhere. I have to find that location.
The one that doesn't have some.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Did you read the verbiage that the bank plans, the bank needs in minutes for the state of removing market and headings?
Need water?
Did you want me to make any-
Water?
They're in the other,
What?
they're in the pantry if you were kids.
I'll see. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And so. It was. Quarter, 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, we can, we call the meeting to order.
You would have to look at the file.
Okay, so you just gonna take the. Right.
It might have been 2022. I think it was 2022.
2022,
I
you're
think
right.
so.
All right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Start with the pledge of allegiance and brief invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight asking for your assistance. We need your help. God, we ask that you be with us, that you give us wisdom, that you guide us through the process of doing the business of the township. Lord, that you put peace in our hearts and keep us in unity, meaning that we can be diverse and have differences of opinion, but still be in unity and work together as a team, as you have set us in this place to do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Okay. Roll call.
David Cox,
Here.
Bob Underhill,
Here.
Jim LePew,
Here.
Kristen Johnson here, Michelle Jackson here.
Any disclosure of conflict tonight? Any members? None. No. Seeing none. We will go with the approval of the agenda. A lot of stuff on the agenda today. I think we'll be able to get through it. We'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second motion.
All those in favor? Aye. All right, we're under a minute into public comment. Anybody have any public comment we'd like to get started with?
Can I ask why there's no publicized agenda for this evening?
Well, I don't know that that is a requirement, Doug. But I'd be more than happy to, I think I still have your phone number. I can send you one real quick on the phone if that would work for you.
No, that's okay. I'll just go through the meeting. I just thought it was generally published at least a week ahead of time so that we knew what was going on. I mean, you guys know what's going on. It'd be nice if we knew what was going on.
Try to get that posted on the website, Doug, prior to the meetings.
Thank you very much. There's also a planning commission meeting for Saturday that there's no agenda published for that either.
It's in the newspaper this Thursday. It came out in actually the posting for the meeting came out there, but
I don't know that there's an agenda posted, but the meeting is posted.
Yeah, I saw the meeting was posted, but it did not show anything as far as an agenda. But thank you.
Mhm. Any other public comment before we get started?
Hi, this is David Viezdowski. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Jim and everybody. I apologize. I would like to do better, but didn't make it back from the road in time. But it's funny. I was also thinking the same thing to add to Doug's comments. I am on Zoom and I'm on the Clearwater Township website, and I went to. There is a place where it posts agendas. But there seems to be a folder. It only shows 2024 agendas, and I guess I think it would be helpful, unless there's somewhere else that I'm not looking. But it would be nice to be able to have these agendas a few days or a week ahead of time, if that's possible. I think in general it would give the community a better feeling about transparency for the board and the planning commission to be able to look ahead and maybe see if it's a matter of interest to them or not, or be able to plan or look into some things or ask some questions or whatever, just to be able to know what's going to be a discussion in the coming meetings would be really nice. I think it I think it'd put the township in better light if that was possible. Not that I didn't mean that it's in bad light. I just meant it would just, be helpful to everybody if we could have that in advance.
You're breaking up on your phone, Dave, but I will make an effort. I've noted it here, and we'll see if we can't do a better job of getting that posted.
Okay, thanks so much.
Any other public comment?
Have one question.
Oh, yes, please. Anybody else while we're waiting for Margaret? All right.
Thank you.
No, Margaret speaking.
I'll talk for it. Okay, at the January meeting, it occurred to me that a lot was made of, Christine's comments of the December meeting, about the date that I was supposed to set down as deputy clerk, and Jen Carney was supposed to take my place. I felt it left our clerk in a bad light. And I'd like to read a transcript that I made when I went back and looked at the meeting. I made a word for word transcript, and I'd like to read that. This transcript begins at 1 hour, 9 minutes and 39 seconds. And ends at 1 hour, 11 minutes and 6 seconds. In that time, the clerk is speaking as follows. The other thing that I have on my agenda for tonight is the time has come for Margaret to retire, and she's going to finish out the year, and then they'll both be on Christmas break, and then after Christmas break, Jenny will become my deputy full-time, and we're super excited about that. Jenny is online right now. And with that, I would like to request from the board permission to move Margaret into the election assistant position that Jenny is in right now and keep her on payroll. Probably, I don't imagine it'll be 10 hours a week, because she's trained Jenny for all of this time, and she will be on standby to help Jenny. But I do want her to be the election assistant. So when Jenny doesn't start working on elections, Margaret can be there to walk her through the process. And like Jim said, that starts in February. So I want to keep her on payroll for as long as Jenny needs. So I need the board permission to continue to pay Margaret for any hours that she puts in, and that would be her sole job, is to help Jenny with elections. That would be all pardon me again, that will be all she'll put hours in for. And so word for word transcript of what it was. There was no January first mention in that meeting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, if there's no other public comment, we will move on to guest reports. Okay, we had scheduled Dean Ferrier, who is the county surveyor. Many of you know that we have a bunch of abandoned alleys within all over, but mainly here in the downtown area. And Dan Packer, myself, and Dean Ferrier met just to kind of grasp what the whole scope is of this project to eliminate these alleys. If you don't already know, they were abandoned in 1971, but nothing was ever done. They just basically said, well, we don't want them anymore, but so all these properties are available for the adjacent landowners to absorb into their properties. It's more or less a replat, okay? So Dean was gonna be here and explain that a little bit, so I'm a little surprised that he's not here, but he did have a little bit of work ahead of him to try to get that package together. It was about a week or 10 days ago that we met, so I would almost be assured if you're interested in any of that, that next meeting, Dean will more than likely be here and we'll pick that subject back up. Okay, we have no deputy sheriff here. I did go to the Board of Commissioner meeting last night in Kalkaska. And I was literally the only member of the public from the entire county there. So that tells you something. But I gave them an earful about the situation of law enforcement here in our township, or I should say the lack of. And I wasn't, giving any hope of any sort as to a change that might be coming on that, but at least they know that we are displeased and hurting and very much in need of some law enforcement. So having said that, I'll give the floor to Truman Beckham.
Being the only guy that show up is not unusual, unfortunately. I love to have people show up. There were two things, I think, and you were there. One was that sheriff got a grant approval, the state police, for $449,605. Three-year deal, enhance the IT security. Good deal, they were very happy about it. We were too. The second thing was, we signed a contract with LA Gymnastics. 5-year contract. I don't know, there's 3 ladies, but I don't know what LA and Gymnastics are. But they're gonna wish my company in the Coliseum. So they're excited, they look to see what's going on. Yeah, is there anything on this?
I'm sorry?
Is there anything on this?
No, a lot of new hiring proposals.
Oh, yeah, but, yeah, we're doing changes.
Some movement there, but no, not really anything other than the normal bill paying stuff.
Yeah, no, nothing great. Nothing great is happening.
Okay. Alrighty. Anybody have any questions for our District 1 representative there on the Board of Commissioners?
Is there any updates on the dam? Any schedule of the dam removal?
What?
Is there any updates on the dam removal? Run Pond?
I haven't heard it.
Was there any discussion about the dam removal at Run Pond?
Oh, yeah. Well, Jim and I were on a meeting. There was a letter. Not much ago. Was there a meeting on June 4th.
Actually, I think it's May 2nd. I think I misspoke at our last meeting. I believe it's May 2nd.
And
No,
no, envelopes and stuff to send it out to
June 4th.
3 minutes and all of it. The parents.
June 4th. Put it again.
311 are upset that it's being removed, or
Yeah,
is it?
311.
They're gonna put it on the ballot?
It's everybody,
Everybody vote.
if here's your feet right in the water, we got you down. And it's very important, my favorite feet in the water.
Thank you.
Just one other thing on the rug pond, removal. They did have, I think, 3 vacancies on their steering committee. I recommended to Mark Sorensen, who is not online today, but he generally inquires about that rug pond when he's here, so. We may have a Clearwater Township representative on the steering committee here soon. Okay, moving on to approval of the January 15th meeting minutes. Seems unusually quiet in here today, is that? What that is, maybe it's because the heat isn't running 24/7 or something, I don't know.
No, because last meeting, everybody was just three.
That's what everybody wants, just get through it.
All right.
Since Margaret brought it up in public comment, on these minutes, it does talk about that changing of that motion to read, approval was voted on to allow Jenny Fournier to be sworn in as deputy on January 1st and Margaret Span to assume duties as election assistant at that time. That changed the motion from Margaret being allowed to be paid, which is what we were seeking board approval for as election assistant, to her being sworn in on January 1st. So that removed the approval to pay her as election assistant, because we changed that motion. So we'll need to redo that
Okay,
to fix that.
okay, so we will correct the minutes.
No, we're not, we can't
We
change
have
the
to
minutes, we'll have to
redo
do
the motion.
a new motion in this meeting, yeah.
And that motion has to be specific whenever there is a transition amongst employees. It has to be specific for our banks to allow to remove one person from the bank accounts and add another person to the bank accounts.
Just a suggestion, can we do that when we get to the clerk or treasurer's report?
Yes.
And then approve these minutes now, and then when we get there, we'll deal with that.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other corrections or observations? I'll make a motion, we approve the January 20th or 15th meeting minutes. Is there a second? All those in favor? Aye. Fine. Fine. All right. Motion is approved. Okay. Look at that. All right, move along to the treasurer's report.
Yes, so I provided bank balances. They did enforce reconciliations with Planet Moran. We still have a few sub-accounts that, need to be set up to provide the breakdown in the subs so that we know how much money moving forward, but they were comfortable with what we had to be able to move forward in doing the budget. Just not providing, figures that may not be accurate, then we would have to go back and correct. So the figures, and I also provided for everybody else, is the accurate what is in our bank accounts currently. With that said, I also provided, there's been some, confusion over how to contact the treasurer. I know every tax time, I've been asked in the meeting and I've gone over this, so I would just make copies so that people can grab them so that they know how to be able to access the treasurer or the deputy treasurer and who you're going to want to contact. So Jim was kind enough to get the instructions. I do need the passcode to get into the phone so that the message will read to contact our cell phones and who specifically to contact when people are calling and asking questions. With that said, it also provides the ways that people can pay. With two separate drop boxes, the post office box going on BSNA online. I also hold office hours at my home, Tuesday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. By appointment. This year I only had 3 people show up at my house, and they made appointments to pay their taxes. So last year I had more people stop by, but I think there's some confusion when people call in that they're not reaching out to our cell phone. The supervisor, he's been more than helpful. He's been afforded the ability to accept payments. So he accepts them, drops them in the drop box, we pick them up. I've also provided what the schedules are for when the taxes need to be paid, so everybody is welcome to a copy. Is there any way that we can get the information onto the website so that people can access it, so there's no questions moving forward? And always, the tax rolls are always on our website. So if people aren't comfortable going into the SNA, they don't have their tax. They misplaced it or the address is incorrect. The tax rolls are on the website. People can access them from their phone, they can access them from their laptop, they can see how much their taxes are. The due dates are the same. And they've, been the same in Kalkaska County for as long as I can remember, twice a year, they do summer taxes. So again, we'll get this online, so people will have it, they'll have our contact information, so there's no confusion on those. So I did want to provide that, and I did make copies as well. The other with BSNA, with the state of Michigan, we do have the availability to go in and do some more customized training that we're going to be reimbursed on. So we'll be able to get some training for the new deputy clerk. We're able to get additional training for any of the people on the board as well. So we're gonna set up a meeting with the state of Michigan and Poland Plant Moran so that we can go over what exactly that's gonna look like and how much it's gonna cost. And the state is taking the for that, which is really nice because BSNA, even though it's extremely frustrating whenever you're going in and learning a software that has some bugs and kinks that they're still trying to work out. I did speak to the treasurer in Acme and the one in Kalkaska Township. They said once they did their transition, they said after about a year, everything was nice and clean and ran really smooth, but also agreed, there's a lot of kinks in the beginning that have to work out. So that was extremely good news. We did work with Cameron with Plant Moran and we took a look at some of the IRS funds. So it looks like we did get money back from the IRS, and those monies would cover, I'm not quite sure what account they're in, but it would cover the 2022 taxes. And Cameron is working, we've provided them pretty accurate information, he'll come back and probably work with Christine or me asking for documentation to be able to back up maybe what had happened during this period of time, but it looks like we have money back for one of the quarters that the IRS sent us the check back. The auditor, for some reason, told us just deposit it. So we do have the money to pay that portion. So Cameron with Plant Moran will work on trying to get abatement on some of the other fees and fines, but even with the money that we had refunded, we're still looking at probably about $25,000 in IRS debt. Our insurance company will, if we put in a claim, they have I think it was up to $10,000, so, but I'm not sure if they would cover, the reasons that we're providing that there was, some issues and some problems. Good news that, we did get the opportunity to reach out to the state of Michigan. They were very vague, but they said at this point, we're in good shape. Christine set up the new account with them. They said that it triggered some letters just because once the new account was up, that they are stating that those payments were late, but that we're in good shape and we have a good rating. They did recommend that we come back and talk to a different person. It was towards the end of the day. He had 50 calls waiting. He really didn't want to go into it. So we'll get additional information on that and be able to provide that. So that one, is good news in my opinion, that hopefully they won't do any digging and find, that we owe them, any more money. So, those both were good, and we met with Plant Moran, and it sounds, relatively positive moving forward that we can get those cleaned up so that we don't have issues moving forward. So did anybody have any questions about any of that, and you're able to hear me? We're all good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to number 10, the clerk's report.
Everybody has your check register for review. I'm sure that you've already looked at that. Everything is just the basic general post audit bills, nothing out of the ordinary that I can think of that needs a little, just double check. There is the one question that I already sent an email to the board about on the visa. There was another purchase for $496, but, or $429, whatever it was, 16, okay, $469.67, that's what it was. Anyways, Michelle did have that receipt and she did send it to me, so just so you know, that one has been discovered as well, and I did give her a check to refund her for the Blink subscription from the church, but I don't know how that happened, it just automatically switched credit cards when it made the payment, and it's never done that before, and I don't know why they did it, but I just removed the township card from my account, so that it's not even an option anymore.
In the $469 was what you approved for maintenance.
Yes.
And so as soon as the other items are delivered, we will let me know so I can get the packing slip to Christine,
But
because
you
there's
and I need to figure out a better system for me getting receipts, so that when I pay the bill, I know what
Right.
it is
absolutely.
before I pay the bill. That way I don't have to do journal entries every time.
Yeah,
Um, so that's the township, is total of $28,711.
I have one question. Dirty Heating came and did some work for us here, just a little while ago, and, oh, there's the other one right there, $259.79.
Are you looking
Okay.
at the township? Yeah.
Yep, from early in February, okay, I see it now.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Good,
They did
good.
the annual service over at the fire department and somehow that bill didn't get turned in or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. As far as the fire department goes, I've talked to Derek and he is now emailing me invoices so that they will come to me directly and they'll be there on time. That way he doesn't have somebody else dropping them off or try to figure out when can I get to the office and when's somebody gonna be there. So
Sure.
that's, the fire department's handling bills that way now, so I don't have to worry about it. And we don't have to worry about being late. So everything for the township is just the regular, there's just the Mosher's bill for parks for $300, and then the Mika Myers had a past due balance, which they're the attorney for the Zimmerman Hoyles Road project, and they had a small $80.51 invoice
Leftovers.
left over that I don't know how they ended up with the leftover, but
It
they
was
did, so.
probably postage on
Maybe,
Because they had
oh, yeah.
the express mail. isn't it?
Sure, sure. And
Both-
so, anyway,
both ways.
that's paid, caught up. So that's all post audit. And I just need a motion to approve post audit bills.
I'll make a motion, we approve the post audit bill.
I will second that.
Need a roll call on them?
Just all in favor.
All in favor?
I,
I did have one quick question. There were 3 reimbursements that didn't have invoices with them. That checks that I signed, one was to Gordon, one was to Jim, and one was to you. Do we have a receipt for
they're all
those?
in the post audit files.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
And then the other, I received an email from KCI stating that the printing bill was delinquent, and I know that,
Yeah, that's on there, they got
That's-
that.
that did get paid, and she did reach back out to me and let me know that that was paid.
I saw that
And-
email too.
Yes, and as far as the visa bill, I would suggest that, Gordon be allowed to check out the visa.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
he can order
Gordon and I
what he
talked about
wants
that.
and get you the invoice, since all of these things are commitments.
Absolutely.
Okay, we have 4 ayes and no vote from Michelle yet.
Yeah.
Okay,
The bills.
motion carried.
And then I got a letter from the Social Security Administration. After I filed our W-2s, that gets sent to Social Security. And the letter that they sent me says that the information they got from our 941s does not match what they got from the W-3. Which means there's a mix-up somewhere in the combination between QuickBooks and BSNA. And I'm not really sure how I can find the accurate information or fix that, but I don't even know. I just want you to be aware that I'm gonna have to contact them and let them know we just did this whole transition and I just used BSNA and I thought that it was gonna be accurate, but it wasn't, so.
Is it gonna require corrected W-2s before anybody files? their taxes?
No, well, I don't think so. I don't think so. Because I did look at the W-2s. I didn't look at all of them, but I looked at the ones that I knew should be a certain amount and they were. So I think the W-2s were correct. I'm not sure that the 941s were actually correct. I don't know where the difference is and I don't know exactly how much the difference is. So I'll just be researching that and see if I can figure it out, but. That was actually not for 2025, it was for 2024. So I have to go back to 2024. No, that wouldn't be, yes,
All be on.
that should all be in QuickBooks, so I don't know why that would be different. Anyways. Another,
Working.
yeah, another thing in process. For us to look at. What else did I add on there? Welcome to Jenny Cornea. It's spelled wrong in the agenda, but Cornea, Jennifer Cornea, our new deputy clerk.
That's my
And-
fault. Sorry.
With that, I do need to make a motion. And I'm gonna write this out as I make it. A motion that we approve Jennifer Cornea as deputy clerk to be added to our bank accounts at Huntington. I'm writing as I say it, so. And Alden Bank,
Alden State Bank.
Alden State Bank,
Yes.
okay. At Alden State Bank and Huntington and Alden State Bank, and to remove from those accounts Margaret Span.
I will second that. All those in favor? Aye.
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 All right,
Congratulations. It's super official now.
and then my next motion will be. 1 second as I write this out. That the board approve Margaret Span as election assistant to be paid for up to 10 hours a week.
I'll second that motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, and we did all of the other stuff. Budget amendments. I'm looking at, I think I sent you guys the email that said, I was talking to, or maybe I just told Jim, I don't know. But I was talking to, Carolyn from Plant Moran, and she said our budget is adopted by cost center. So since it's adopted by cost center, we only need to make amendments for our departments, not for each line item in the department. So as long as the department is not over budget, we're okay. And I'm going through this. I know that there is, let's see, township board's at 81%, so we're good there. We only have another month left. Supervisor is good, clerk's good. Board of review is good. Treasurer's department is good. Although caution for treasurer's department, your wages and salaries is at 88.7%. There's not a whole lot left in there.
Yeah.
So we might have to make an amendment for that.
Yep.
Let's see, assessors at 89%. Okay, so there, you saw on the email that I sent you that there was a miscellaneous expenses at $144,033.86. And then, at the top in the revenue, there's a miscellaneous revenue, which is, I think, 148,000. So what Carolyn said was that, they didn't know where to put those things. So those are actual expenses that we have and actual revenue that we have, but they didn't know where to put them. So they created a general government department to put those in. So they kind of wash out because it's 144 and 148,000. So I think if we just look at that, we're okay. Not positive yet, though.
They can't identify any of that.
It's what BSNA did.
So they combine those kind.
They just took it from QuickBooks and said, oh, we don't know what to do with this, so we're gonna put it here. I'm not really sure what all they put in there. Elections is really good. Building and grounds is only at 50%, which is really good. One thing we have is rubbish disposal, and that is our spring cleanup. That is one that needs an amendment because we never allocated any money in the budget for our spring cleanup, which we need to keep in mind for the next budget, but for this budget, we need an amendment for rubbish removal. And that is $21,110.05.
So this is the spring cleanup
Yes.
portion of
Well, the rubbish removal includes the monthly and the spring cleanup. It's all garbage, but
Okay.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's the only amendment. I don't know what that is. It says health department and it's,
Well, I think out of the maintenance and grounds where we are only up 50%, that seems to be the logical choice.
to move money from there.
Yes, I mean, we went a
Oh, yeah.
considerable amount of time with a free maintenance guy,
Mhm.
so. That to me, it seemed the obvious, so I will make a motion that we move, $25,000 to the trash or
Rubbish. removal.
rubbish removal account from the maintenance grounds department. Is there a second?
Yes. Who I was talking about.
All those in favor?
Alright, I do see that there is one more, it looks like. I'm gonna have to double check it because what ESNA put in the budget for zoning. Is not accurate. They included the planning department in that money and. So if I reduce what they have in there for the budget to what it should be. Zoning department will be over budget, but if I leave it the way they had it, they will not, so. Let me do some research on that one before we move
Okay.
any funds on that. But that's it, everything else is good. Hey, that's good news, that's good news, we're not over budget except for that one area that we didn't budget. And I think that was it for me. Oh, the pay periods.
Yeah, pay period.
It would be my recommendation, everybody here knows, I'll just let you guys know, until there was a question, I did not know I was doing it wrong. Dee brought up the question about the policy for payroll, and I did the research and discovered that deputies are supposed to only be paid once a month. That's what the policy actually says, is that deputies get paid only once a month. So when I started, I thought if you're a paid employee, you could pick whether you wanted bi-weekly or monthly. So nobody said anything different to me, and I didn't know until she asked about it, and we did the research and found out that I was doing it wrong. So for 2-3 years now, I've been doing payroll wrong for Dee. However, that means a policy change, but it is my recommendation that we not address policy change right now because we are planning to use Plant Moran to change policies. And there's a lot to a payroll policy that is not included in our current payroll policy. And so it needs to be written correctly. It needs to go to the attorney for approval and then the policy can be changed. So I don't think anybody's written a policy.
No, but I think of that, and I have a motion, my proposed motion is that we have 4 employees. Which I would consider deputies just as election assistant maintenance. They're not elected officials and they would be employees. I recommend that we do 26 pay periods per year. Things have changed so much since these, ones that you provided to us, and I'm sure, they're accurate, valid, whatever they had in place. But going to pay people monthly because they are a deputy, they're still an employee, just like the maintenance. So if you're paying the maintenance person bi-monthly, so twice a month, but then we go to it, oh, well, you're a deputy, you're only gonna get paid once a month. That's rather discriminatory, in my opinion. I think that we should go to 26 pay periods. If it's something that I need to bring up with Carolyn when we're working on that policy, I mean, I'm good with that. So, I mean, at the very least, we should be continuing how they've been being paid so that we're not, discriminating against people based on what their title is. Their employees, their W-2, you know, they should, be paid fairly. The board is elected and, as elected officials, we get paid monthly. So, I mean, I'm good working, you know, towards the policy on the payroll portion of it. But, I think if we went, oh, well, back at this time, which was quite a while ago, and a lot of laws have changed, I think it would be discriminatory to go, yeah, we're only gonna pay you once a month. I mean, that's my opinion.
I respectfully disagree with that.
Well,
It's
that's,
policy. And I believe, I'm gonna go with the recommendation that we don't change anything right now. So that's my opinion on that.
and everybody has a right to their.
That's right.
Who, and so, just so, what is the purpose? So, no, what would be the purpose of going from bi-monthly to once a month? What would be the intended person? I mean, we all have opinions on things, but what would be the intended purpose? If it's because we had a motion or a resolution, I mean, we can write up another resolution like it's nobody's business and vote on it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, for the past 3 years, our clerk has been paying bi-monthly.
And the clerk did address that. And she
Yes,
said she's
she
been doing,
absolutely
hold on, I'm
addressed
talking
that.
right now. And she said she's doing it incorrectly. She's been doing it incorrectly.
Correct.
Now, the policy all along has been once per month. And she admitted that she's been doing it and making mistakes, okay? So I agree that we wait right now with all the Plant Moran stuff going on and
Correct.
address policy all at once. Instead of making that
Correct.
change right now.
Correct. That's exactly what I said.
And it's not discriminatory.
Yes, it is discriminatory. They are all employees, regardless of what title they wear. They're employees of the township. They receive W-2s. They are employees. We have to, as a township, follow payroll laws and rules. End of story. I mean,
No.
that is just the end of the story.
It's not
The board doesn't make up what the payroll rules are based on what the federal government and the state of Michigan tells us what they are.
That's why the policy needs to go to the attorney, so that we
Absolutely.
make sure that it's
That's right.
accurate.
So no changes at this time. Policy goes to the attorney. Very good.
Well, I think we're still discussing this, but, I would say this, okay? We say no change right now, but no change right now would mean continuing to pay them bi-weekly, because that's what has.
Let me reword that, no change in the policy.
Then I recommend the motion that they are paid 26 pay periods a year, or at the very least bi-monthly, twice a month. Once a month, absolutely not.
Is that a official motion?
I have the motion, yes, sir. Would you like me to read it to you? I'll read it to everybody. I move the Clearwater Township change the employee payroll schedule from current twice monthly, 24 pay periods per year to bi-weekly schedule, 26 pay periods per year with paydays on Friday, employee time cards due the Monday before payday. This change will take effect starting the pay period ending August 15th and paycheck issues August 29th. I would even step back and state that this starts after our budget is approved in March. So I would go back and state that this should start next month. We should continue with what we've been doing, regardless of whose error or mistake it is. And then we should I propose the motion that this go to beginning March, 26 pay periods per year.
I have a copy of that to put it in the
Absolutely.
minutes.
Yeah, change.
That was pretty long.
Well, I think, so that we may have a vote on it, I will go ahead and second the motion. Is there any further discussion before we take a vote?
I like to bi-monthly or bi-weekly, twice a month or bi-weekly. I personally,
For everybody or just for,
in today's economy, for everybody, yeah.
so like board members too, or?
Well, I don't know if that was part of that motion.
Yeah, I think it, well, that's, I'm just saying how I like,
Non-elected
you know.
Yeah, I still see that as a change in policy. And it doesn't really address everything in the policy, you're just changing your pay dates. So, I don't know, I think if you're gonna change the pay dates and you have a policy that presents your pay dates, you're changing the policy, you can't just make a motion to change part of the policy and not change the whole policy.
The motion is so that employees of the township are paid 26 paychecks a year.
Mhm.
So it's a motion to modify the policy. Or at
Motion
least,
besides, you modify the policy that employees are paid. If they, especially if they choose to, I don't have an issue as a board member being paid once a month. But we're talking about people that are employees and we're giving one set of employees one guideline of how they're gonna get paid. But then we're restricting another set of employees on how they're gonna be paid. And no matter how you dice it, that is discriminating against specific employees based on their title.
You also say that payday would be on Friday and paydays can't be on Friday because the office is closed on Friday.
Thursday
is the payday.
Thursday works,
What's an amendment to your motion?
yes.
That's just my opinion. I'm not in agreement to changing the policy until we're ready to change the entire policy. That only changes just a portion of it. Which, you know, my preference would be to offer the option. Do you wanna be paid by twice monthly or do you wanna be paid monthly? But that would be my recommendation, that you
which is
just
kind
give,
of what we've been
give
living
your,
on.
yeah.
Which is what you've been
That's-
doing,
yeah, that's what
which
I've
means
been doing.
nothing changes.
Yeah.
But then
so-
we do run into the issue where there's some months where it's 3 weeks before an employee gets paid.
Yeah, twice a year, that happens.
Yeah.
Twice a year, that's not a lot. So, yeah, I mean, I totally understand your motion, but I would say, rather than change the policy, I would say board give me approval to continue doing it as I've been doing it until we change the policy. Does that make sense? That's basically doing the same thing without actually changing the policy.
Again, I would like to see our employees on 26 pay periods. 26 weeks in a month.
There's
But
a,
at the
there's
very-
a, there's a reason that I mean, I don't really have a preference, but there is a reason that I don't really wanna change to that. Because this is my reason, okay? First week of the month, I have 941s and pay bills. Second week, I have payroll. Third week, I have board meeting and prep for that. Fourth week, I have payroll. If you start mixing it up to every 2 weeks, then I have to pay more attention to my routine. It's messes everything up for me.
Well, I mean, that is my preference. I mean, at the very least, until policy, is passed with Plant Moran, and I will surely, reach out to Carolyn, and discuss with her those policies. A lot of things have changed since 2022, and surely a lot of things have changed since 1993.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And, I am going to stick to, if you go, well, we're only gonna pay deputies once a month. It's discriminatory because you're paying other employees, they're W-2, they're employees of the township. So, my preference is 26 paid days a year. If you want to do bi-monthly until we have the phase payroll done, I'm good with that. I mean, it's once a month. And that's where
We could also look into a payroll company for the hourly employees, and that would take a lot of load off the clerk.
it would take a lot off of her, and it would
And
also
see
take a
what the-
lot of liability off of the township.
Yeah,
I mean, every job that I've had Paycor, I've had
Yes and
Workforce,
no.
or I've had
yeah.
ADP. And they do direct deposit, they file everything, necessary that we need, and there's no liability on the township. If there's a mistake,
How
they
does that work with BSNA though? Do they have access to our BSNA to do payroll?
With Paycor, Workforce, ADP, what they would do is they would actually, employees would have a time clock and they would clock in, and you as the clerk or somebody else appointed to do it would just approve their time, just like you typically do with a time sheet.
So
And
it
they-
doesn't really change anything.
and
I
then
still have
they-
to do the time sheets. I still have to send them to them. I still have to get
It's
the
all
checks and sign the
online.
checks. I still have
You
to.
don't sign the checks. The checks are pre-signed in their system and direct deposited into employees' bank accounts of their choice. So it's not like they're gonna send you a check for you to have to sign. They take care of everything on their end.
Township policy is you and I both have to sign.
Yes,
So
so we would both have our signatures in that system if people were to get a paper check. The goal is for people to be able to get direct deposit so that the money goes right into their bank. You would still have to approve time,
Mhm.
but that would be it. They'd get their time to you on
And
that
I
day.
still have to input
and
it into
you
BSNA.
You would approve it. And then, I'm gonna talk to Carolyn and I'm gonna find out. I know that we discussed it on and off, the last, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 months.
Mhm.
They would be able to take care of all of our filings, making sure that we have the accurate figures through the IRS.
I mean, I'm actually happy to give up all of that work. I'm perfectly happy to get paid to do less work. That's
For
fine.
me,
Uh,
for me,
for the
I would
township,
look at it.
I'm looking at the cost, like, we just paid for BSNA payroll, we just paid for training.
Yes, and we also have a $40,000 IRS bill. So
But that was
again,
before that.
that is taxpayer money, that is not our money. Are we willing to take the liability, that mistakes are gonna be made and it's gonna cost taxpayer money? Or do we just pay professionals to do it? And then we are not making our township liable, and we are not making, because we're literally making our taxpayers pay for mistakes that were made. And yes, they were made in the past, but I mean, we're talking 2021 and 2022. That's 4 and 5 years ago. I mean, that's a long time ago. And for me, if it was me personally, and I messed up and I had to break out my own checkbook and write a check to the IRS, I would just be sick about it, and I'm sick about the thought that we have to do that for people in the township. You know, some of the people in our community struggle already to pay their taxes, and then now here we are, we're squandering more of their money, you know, based on mistakes. Is it the perfect solution? Maybe not, but it's something that we've talked about over the last 10 months. And I just think that it's a piece of the puzzle that has to be very efficient so that we're not squandering money from taxpayers and then coming back to them and like, oh, well, this happened and that happened and this happened, you know, it still happened and it's gonna cost taxpayer money, you know, to pay it and to take care of it. So again, it's an option on the table, you know, it's not saying, oh yeah, let's do this today, tomorrow, but it's something that we should discuss.
Do we definitively know what one of those services costs?
We do not, it would take some research, there's workforce, there's ADP, there's Paycor, there's several of them. And finding one that works with BSNA would be a bonus. So I just think it's something that we shouldn't just, you know, bury our head in the sand about and not be open-minded to. You know, when we're dealing with money that isn't ours, that's my only concern.
All right, there was a motion on the table. Is there any more discussion? The motion was to. I don't even remember what the motion was.
It is at the very least to continue bi-monthly the way they're paying. I would like to see 26 paychecks a year, but at least 24 paychecks a year. So if we continue with the way that we're doing it until the policy portion that phase with Plant Moran, I am okay with that because that's gonna be coming up rather quickly once we adopt our budget. So 1 month of monthly paychecks to people, are we trying to inflict pain on them or hurt them? Or intentionally point, you know, people out or discriminate against them because.
I would want to ask our ZBA and our planning commission, does it hurt you to only get paid quarterly and only get a little tiny check?
Who would be hurt by being paid once a month?
Your deputy would be. I'm a single mother.
If
I
there's
can
motion,
use that money more than once a month, and you know that, that's why it was brought up.
there were motion? Yeah.
Yeah,
On the floor.
there's motion, and Jim seconded.
Right. Okay, did you not modify it though to allow for 24 months?
Yes,
That was.
yeah, that's fine until the policy that we work with Plant Moran, which should be coming up as soon as rather quickly after we adopt that budget.
Andrew said he'd like to stay at once a month.
Me personally, I like the choice effect, like what was
Absolutely.
stated. But,
Are we changing it to, are we changing that motion, which that would rescind that motion, to a motion to keep it as I have been doing it until we get the policy changed?
Absolutely.
So that would require both of you to rescind your motion and redo a motion.
So I redo the motion to keep things the way they are until we adopt the policy with Plant Moran, which I am gonna recommend at that time, 26.
So Jim, do you agree to rescind that?
I will second that, and, I will also be looking into the cost of those payroll services and try to figure out what that, will entail. If there is no further discussion, I will entertain a vote on that. And I think we should probably do a roll call vote, just
So the motion is to keep doing the payroll as it has been done until we can have the policy updated.
Perfect.
All right. Roll call vote, Bob Underhill? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yes.
David Foss,
No.
Jim LePew,
I will be a yes.
Michelle Jackson,
Yes.
Christine Johnson, and a no as well, but it did pass.
BSNA has a payroll.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we paid for. So that's basically throwing away all the money we paid for it.
That's not
To-
throwing it away, even when we're paying the same amount and for the.
For our records, wouldn't we still be putting the same information into that?
I will find out the information from Carolyn and her recommendation for townships.
But I mean, as far as our documenting it or documenting it
I
for,
would suggest working with a actual third party that works with the estimate.
but my question was, aren't we still entering the same information?
If
into
it's
BSNA?
integrated, if it's an integrational portal with BSNA and that service,
Mhm.
it should be a new issue. We just have to find a third party that works with BSNA.
But my point was that we're not wasting
No,
money expended for BSNA payroll software because we still have to do our own software, our own
no, we're not.
accounting.
We're wasting money on we.
Is that a vote of no confidence in your work? For 3 years I've been doing it, and I made one mistake.
No, I have all the confidence in this.
Well, that's good, because we want the community to feel the same.
Yeah, I have all the confidence in you, nothing personal.
All right, let's get into the written reports by department. You have a fire department report here. I believe it was 44 runs. Maybe I don't have that. You won't have that. That's 44 runs. Or 44 requests for services in January. They did purchase some new ice rescue equipment. Derek reports that they are working on a 5-year plan. And they also assisted in 2 training sessions. With the West Station. Southport Lake. Okay, Van Packer, Planning Commission. We have the report.
We have our written report from February 2nd meeting. And that covered it pretty well, and there's, I wonder if has anything to add to it there. We have a special meeting on Saturday morning coming up, the 21st at 8 AM here. And I will mention the agenda there, that on a special meeting, the agendas typically only have one item on it, and that was part of the notice that was published in the newspaper as well as on the township website. Having said that, I'll agree that agenda should be published on the website at least several days prior to every meeting that has an agenda attached to it.
I agree.
That's more public comment than that's all I have.
All right, we have a interim chairman. Bob Underhill here for the Parks and Rec Department. Give a quick report.
Yeah. Pretty simple, unorganized meeting just to see where everybody stood and where we want to be as a committee. All opposed? Bill, we're gonna conquer that under meeting. We have a lot of maintenance issues, safety issues to address before we really move forward on anything. Anything else?
There is a couple asks.
Before you move on to asks, can I just mention, I saw you just flip over, that is, Grace's resignation.
Yes.
Grace has resigned, and I think proper procedure means the board is supposed to actually make a motion to accept that resignation.
Okay.
I think that's how we're supposed to do it, and we've not been doing that.
Okay.
So I will make the motion that we accept Grace's resignation.
Okay, can we include that with Jody Wilson's resignation with that
Oh,
as well?
sure.
And they're resigning from the board totally.
From the Parks and Rec Committee.
I don't agree with that.
So Jody McGee
I don't accept that.
and Grace Beelan. Motion to accept resignation of Jody McGee and Grace Beelan from Parks Committee.
I will second that.
In favor?
Aye.
I'm not in favor of it.
You're not in favor of it?
No, I'm in favor of very positive and trouble. And it's that mean that we're hemorrhaging people.
Oh, we don't want to do it, for sure, but.
Correct.
You want to present that, bid proposal or just what we're seeking there for the. We can do it a number of ways,
Well, we're gonna be,
newspaper.
what's that?
We need to have a couple bids.
Well, there's 3 local companies, one of them, which is in our
Like
town.
local.
Yeah. And we can get 3 bids from these local people. Without spending anything for the newspaper. And you know, 2 of them personally really well. Okay. And I grew up with the other one. Well, okay, so
Can we emphasize sealed bids for that? So there's no.
The only thing I would say, if I may, is you have to drop a bid sheet. You got to, the township.
I think that's what
Yeah,
we mean by define and solicit, is the define.
but if the township board, if you guys don't want to publicize it, I don't understand that. Because that's how you reach Clough-Wellville in Traverse City. You reach somebody else, and somebody may want to just donate a well to a township. You know what I mean? You never know, right? So I think if we get permission tonight for Parks and Rec to advertise it or create a bid sheet and disperse it so that at next meeting we can have bids, because you can't wait too long to get this done. So.
So I guess, yeah, we'll publicize it. It has to be stated that it is a class 2 well.
Okay. Would you draw up that language, Mr. Chairman?
I can.
Okay. And then get that to me as soon as possible. I'll get it in the newspaper. I'm not sure that out of the area well drilling companies will be reading the Elk Rapids News. So is there any other publications that we should consider?
Social media. A lot of the, I know, Living Well is on, Facebook.
Yeah, that's April.
Yeah, they grow it good.
Jenny would email the Builders Exchange, they'll post it on their members page.
Crucial thing is making sure people are bidding apples to apples. It's a commercial well for the township. Type 2 must meet all state, local, federal
Steve
standards.
stated that he can't even inspect it. Well, it's gotta be state inspected.
And it says that they all get the same thing, and we open bids next meeting, and get it done.
And is this for potable water?
Yes. Yes.
If you post it on your bid request page on your webpage.
Yes.
His work, then there's people that search that. So
Sure.
you'll get a lot of
I wrote websites there too. Okay, just to follow up, you and Jeff are gonna get together and file a, get it to me, I'll get it in the newspaper on the website. And, we'll get some water over there at the park, yeah. Okay. And the playground border. Playground border. Everybody should have a. So we will only contact them with their phone in 30 minutes. Okay. Yeah, it's probably still the same website, yeah, I was starting that, but, there's three options here. Wow. Couple of different prices, $14.84 is one, which. Those, playground borders would be $120 more, because it's $3 more per piece. So that would be $1,700 to do that one, and then we have the one RMP USA. Which we got something else from them just recently, I can't remember what it was, but, well, that's what we got the mulch, yeah. Okay. And their quote was 2101, so they're a little more expensive.
And none of these are the same company that we purchased the equipment from.
No, quote, that's not there. It was 27. Which I think is consistent. I will mention that all of these borders also include spikes every. All we have to do is they put them in and get our mulch in, and then that's that.
Which one stands out best to you?
The playground borders, correct? Save a little money there.
That's your preference?
Yeah.
And I see no lift gate, so you have to unload the forklift.
Yes. Oh, it's still covered, so forget it. But yeah, it's 12 inches tall, put in with slate, so you can make it whatever shape you want. But yeah. And I can just bring the trencher, and we can trench around, use a trenching shovel, get it in there.
Are they comparing the same product from different people or they're all
Yes, right, we are.
same product?
Apples, yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Just very slight variations. Yeah, and these were all given to me by Parks and Rec, so. All right, well, I will make a motion that we use playground borders direct estimate. For the grand total, says here 1484, that does include shipping, which is 408, so I'll go ahead and just to allow for any slight price changes between then and now. This particular quote was done in October. So I'll make a motion that we do not exceed $2,000. Playground borders direct for 4D, 4-foot, 12-inch high sections of border for playground. Our person.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they got money.
Yeah, they can get money.
Second. All right, all those in favor? All those in favor? Aye.
I know that thing.
Motion carries. And now, if I'm not mistaken, I think that is the last thing we need for the.
To finish
Labor.
labor.
Well, yeah.
Jim and I are willing to do it with shovels and get it done.
I'll take it over there in my hand to do it. Just well over, long over. Okay, this is the, let's circle that one back to. All right, anything else for Parks and Rec, or move on?
Yes.
Oh, wait, we do have one of those. That hasn't been brought up, but, just one other thing here, and this is. I don't know if you know Josh Keel, he's been one of the people working on, conversion of Patriot Park into a usable and, pleasant experience. He has been, and his heart is in the construction of a disc golf course on that location. There's, a lot of work done leading up to that, but, last year he went to a national disc golf design, conference. I don't remember the location of it last year.
New Orleans.
Okay, so it must be in New Orleans every year then, okay, because this year he's gonna be going to the disc golf design conference again in New Orleans, and it's in March. Last time he paid for his travel, the conference fee and his hotel, et cetera, out of his own pocket. And he has financed it again this year for himself. And I'm wondering if there's a way maybe that we could offer him some relief on that. Try to help him out in the.
Do you have any idea how much the conference and the travel?
The conference, I think he said, was $465. Motel for, I think it's 4 days, and airfare.
He had all the numbers filled out.
Yeah, I don't have all the numbers, but I know I'm sure it's costing him several $1,000s to do this, out of his own pocket. And
Under three, I think it was under three.
But is there any support on the board to reimburse that? Or obviously he's got to provide some receipts and things like that.
I talked about that in our meeting, and for partial reimbursement, yeah. That's what happens at Patriot Park, so it might not be now, it might be 2 years down the road, but. I think that money could be used. In Parks and Rec. Yeah, again, this doesn't happen.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, I guess then, would you be willing to put that into like a motion or something, or are we just gonna offer support when the receipts come in? How would we like to do that? I mean, I'd like to tell them,
I mean, it's kind of putting the cart before the horse.
Well, that's why I say you
Yeah.
gotta have some receipts.
Yeah, but
How about this? How about
if he goes to the training and the disc golf course never gets built in Patriot Park,
Mhm.
that was really bad money spent.
Yes.
We have a lot of repairs.
Yeah, and we have a lot of safety issues that's gonna chew our quite
Mhm.
between the parks we already have to maintain.
Mhm.
You
So
guys have any additional means of getting donations into Parks and Rec?
I don't wanna ask for donations until we have a plan for what the donated money is.
Okay.
I mean, it's like buying race fuel for your car before you know what car you're racing. We need to think with supply.
Yeah, there's a lot of repairs that need to be done, like the
Yes.
steps and for our.
So we could go on.
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay, so what we're looking for is some results. And
At the time of results of what the conference is training,
mhm,
I wouldn't have any problem with a partial reimbursement. I mean, it's something he is also very passionate personally.
sure,
And it will, if these conferences are as great as Josh says, and I believe him, it may cut a lot of engineering costs out of the course.
mhm. I totally agree.
So, and I did have notes, it'll be right around $1,200 for expenses. So, you know,
So when it comes to permission, we
Yeah.
have to reimburse him at that time
Yes.
for the time that he spent going to the conferences that has saved us on.
Yeah.
I definitely.
I know he definitely intends on doing it.
Yeah. I think
Got a
that's-
great vision for it.
I think.
Yeah, the ticket- plane ticket was 608. I think when I was the event was 535, and that was about $125 a ticket. In the parks and that.
All right, so I don't know that we need to make a motion right now, but we can offer support for reimbursing them.
And he's
when,
been really happy about it.
yes, yes, when, the,
When you're,
yeah,
when Parks and Rec's ready, right?
yes,
They'll
yes.
bring it to the board for a request.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay.
I think that's fine. You know, he's willing to pay for it all by himself, yeah, as he already has. So it was an ask. All right. Maintenance.
And, you know, one of the things Josh wants to do up there was with a temporary 9-hole course.
Correct.
So that expenditure is definitely a stepping stone in the right direction. Because now all of the local community of disc golfers have something to see.
Sure.
So if they come up there and see that, this is what we got, and this is our vision. That future vision becomes an expense.
Yeah.
So I did ask Josh, he said it's a 4-day seminar. And I said to him, dude, you just put your cell phone in your pocket, record that whole thing, and I think he can. But if he came back with the recordings of all the experts, that would be a great thing, you know, so he could share, not just be the only guy there, but put the horse before the cart, as we say, but the money, put that temporary in is gonna be a good thing to really look at as an expenditure. That'll set the bigger for.
Maintenance. Anything you'd like to add to our discussion this evening?
There's a lot that has to be done. Down here needs major repair work.
Let me start with this. Is there anything in the township that doesn't need repaired? Maybe we can start there. Because it's
Tires on my truck.
everyone.
Yeah.
Tires on my truck.
That's good.
That was a blessing.
Something we don't have to worry about for 2 years.
Now we have the garage door over here at the township, the bottom section is rotted right out. We got 3 bids.
Yes.
Is that something we have to do now? Is something we have to do before winter?
Mhm.
I have another guy here. Richard Hot, you know Richard?
Okay, just recently, we had a repair on the other one. We had
Yep.
rails going bad where, over the years, people bumping into them, they just became so twisted, it was binding continuously.
And when I'm healed, I can do it too.
Well, I am gonna have to repair the steps here coming up onto the deck, absolutely. So the scissors are going bad on it. They're split at the top, that's why they're so bad.
I believe the former board approved, replacing that deck with composite boards that were supposed to be purchased from Lowe's, but we never got that far.
And we couldn't get it in our budget. It was like $20,000.
Yeah, it's gonna be expensive.
Mhm.
For sure.
My place is to clean it, try to repair what's needed,
I
because there's a
agree.
lot of nails popping.
That's what we talked about when we were in our budget meetings, just work with what we had.
Boards below are swelled up and screws, you know, don't grab too good. I'm sure Ryan knows what I'm talking about. But yes, we need to,
Yeah, it's becoming a safety liability.
yes,
The other thing on the fire department too, this man approach on the Garfield side is chipping bad,
breaking up.
really bad.
I know we have many lists of projects ongoing in that, but, maybe we should get a master list and try to get some priority to it where, you know, our most severe safety issues get addressed first.
We'll do that.
Okay.
Steps down pretty hard, yes, they're treacherous, they're bad, they need to be done.
Before someone gets hurt.
All right. One other thing here, and I know we're gonna, and later on in the meeting here, we're gonna set a budget meeting, but, Gordon's been here now a number of months. We've kind of had some unofficial, meetings between us on proficiency and things like that, and, just wanna say that I'm thankful for our choice of selecting Gordy for maintenance guy. And when we get to the budget, I will be, because he's still on his entry level salary, I think $21 is what it is right now. I think there's, you know, justification to bump that up a couple bucks or something, whatever, when we get there.
I agree.
Okay. All right, zoning administrator, John, it's your floor.
Right, regards to the notices of violation that we sent out last month. Everybody responded back to the official notices. I'm just looking for the little bit of board's direction on this.
Did you get one from Ryan back?
Not Ryan.
Okay, but the other owners of it.
The other one, right, so. I'm just looking for some direction, because the response was pretty standard. Due to the weather, they want us to know they're asking for time. And I'll leave that.
Bullshit, dude.
Say again?
I said bullshit. Like, come on.
Sorry, Mitch, it's time for, the board to meet, not public comment. Can you hold off? Just,
Yep, sorry. I'm just, yeah,
that's okay.
got it.
So that's where we're at with those properties right there. I'll leave that in the hands of the board. I mean, you tell me that the direction to go.
Right.
The next step is the 30-day with the citation.
I will say this, okay, Ryan not acknowledging our concerns has put him in a bad place, in my opinion, but the weather is changing. It has not been 30 days yet since they've been notified, but again.
It's been 2 years since you've been notified. Stop lying. So knock it off. Okay?
Less than 30 days since it.
Official notice.
2 years. 2 years that I moved here. Nothing has changed over there. Stop lying.
I don't think anybody's lying. We're just trying to address it as the board sees to address it. I understand it's been an issue for a long time. We got to the point where the next step is the citation, so.
I would just point out that this board has been here a little over a year. 2 years ago, previous board hadn't notified them, hadn't done anything, so. I know you're frustrated, Mitch, and I fully understand that. But there are legal requirements for us to do as a current board, so I'm sorry that you're having to go through that. Yeah, and we've got you on mute right now, so you Howard. Yes, it's a frustrating situation and, we're moving forward on it. Trying to do it within the law and within the boundaries that we're given. I'm not giving up on it. And again, we have more on the list and those are coming.
I personally assure the public, I have not given up by any means. It's an issue that needs to be addressed. And I agree wholeheartedly with Mitch.
I do
So
too.
we do have a procedure and we've got to that point now. And like I said, we've got to go by the book. And the book says now it's been in the hand, they had a notice.
Mhm.
They have up to 30 days, that's not been at the 30-day mark, but if they don't,
Mhm.
we still as a board, still has the option of giving an additional 30 days. And you tell me to write the ticket, I'll write the ticket tomorrow, so.
Mhm.
Well, here's my question. Have you been down there to there, like, there was a dumpster out there? And I mean, I know it's still a blight, but has the owner made any effort at all?
No.
No.
No. And I talked to the owner across the street that one of his trailers was parked on his property. And he contacted the sheriff's department to report that as a separate issue. No, there have been no findings.
I personally would be one to say, write the ticket. I mean, there's plenty of stuff there in its current state that is ready to be moved. So,
It's not new.
it's not,
It's been addressed with the tenant there as well. There was progress, then there wasn't, so it's not like you didn't know, there's, I guess the time of excuses are done.
mhm. Is that a similar feeling amongst the board? If we'd like, I'll make a motion and vote on it if you'd like to do that, but I think it's time we move forward. That has been a disaster, that location, and for this individual, you know.
Do you think moving on it now,
Well, he has
it's
done
going to be legally prosecutable? Like, is it gonna go somewhere, or are we gonna get kickback because we moved too fast, or we didn't follow protocol?
No, we can write the citation,
Okay,
that's not an issue.
okay.
Now there will be a procedure, obviously, if he appeals or
Mhm.
wants to fight the citation, but
Mhm.
at
Which you
this,
probably will.
at this stage of the game, like I said, we're perfectly within our rights to do
Okay.
that.
And again, I would reiterate, there's a lot of stuff at that location that is not under snow, and there's no reason for it to not be addressed.
I concur.
Okay, board agreement? Okay, I guess you have,
Make the
blessing to
motion.
move forward.
Do we need a
All right, I'll
motion?
make a motion that we, move forward with the citation on the, I don't know the house number, but the Han Circle property previously given me.
7940, not
7940, that's it. Yeah.
49 circle. Roll call that?
Need a second. Oh, was second? Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know that. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There you go. There you go.
And the second part, just so the public's being aware of that, there are several other properties that I have a list and I have to prioritize the list. That's what we're doing next. So I've got 2 on Rapid City Road, I've got 2 on Valley, and 1 on Arwood that are, my priorities as well. Not to say there's not others, because there are, but we have to kind of do this in stages, and that's especially if we're gonna end up in a battle with some of these. We gotta have a procedure in place to conduct something. But I have not stopped yet. That's great. Yes, sir.
How much is the citation?
$250.
It was next time.
First.
First,
set.
yeah.
Who, you said that's the town,
No.
that's that?
No, sir.
Yeah, it's in the ordinance.
Yes, you can.
Mitch, if you hear me, you can read the message that I sent you in the chat.
Okay, anything else you have,
No, I think that you already have my reports and I've already had on the first day.
okay,
Thank you.
I'll let you, address the public safety committee meeting then too, since you're the chairman.
Real quick on the public safety committee, we brought that back and I'm going at full force again. And my intent is to establish what a constable is and take away some of those misnomers and the conceptions that people have about a constable as something viable that this township should severely look at. And to answer Ms. Kelly some questions that she had in the last time, I'm gonna have answers. I want to establish what, who, what, why, where, and how. That's what I wanna do. You have a question about it. Now, it's gonna take some process to get to that point. But the more research I do into this, it is the answer for this township, especially since we're not getting support from the sheriff's department. A lot of benefits, and I wanna compile this. And at some point, I would like to make a presentation to the board. So, and the public obviously would be invited to that as well. But it has not gone away is my point. So we didn't have a quorum last meeting, but we do have a new member on there, so we do have a quorum now. And hopefully the next meeting will establish some more parameters.
Who else on your committee right now?
Joanne and Kat from the fire department and myself was the board at this point now.
Okay.
Anybody a member of the public, we're still looking for at least 2 more. Feel free to get a hold of me, right in zoning offices, you get way to get a hold of me. Or email zoning@clearwatertwp.com. I think that's all we got.
Okay.
Thank you.
The road commission, had a delay of 1 week for their meeting. And I did go to it on the 18th, and the road commission puts out a list every year of projects that they are funding exclusively primary roads. And there are no Clearwater Township roads on that list for this coming summer. We're still waiting on some bid proposals to come back on a few of the projects that we have listed as our goals as township. And we're just waiting on cost estimates to see how much of it we can do. I'm sure there's more on the list than we have money for, so.
We are gonna address River Street this year, all right?
It's on the list.
County, okay.
It's not on the county's list. It's not a primary road. So. But downtown, all the crap, things in that are on the list, so. That River Street requires a little more than just a tire and chip to fix, but. It's there, it's on the list. Okay, we're up to supervisor correspondence. I don't think I gave everybody a list here, but. Guy from Cintas, the company that does rugs and uniforms and stuff like that, came by and we had a nice little chat. And talked a bit. They have a program that they just were accepted into, and you probably heard me talk about that My Deal thing. The state of Michigan has a purchasing power by buying in volume, and Cintas became a member of that group. And he came by and I showed him what we're currently paying and what compared them to prices in the new deal process that they have going. And it's literally about 20 to 25% of the cost that we're doing now. It isn't a huge cost. I'm looking at here, one of the bills for our rugs was $107. This is a weekly expense. They come every week. Correct, or bi-weekly.
No, it's weekly.
Oh, it is, okay, well, I know they come weekly with a uniform, so, okay, yeah, anyway, it's $107 with the Continental Inner Services, theirs is $19.79, so that gives you and that's for literally 7 rugs. That's swapped out weekly, okay, mop heads and uniforms and some stuff like that, it goes from $38 to $7.94. Here's one, 125, and it goes to $9.45. This particular one, it has a bunch of like, delivery service. They don't have that, with Cintas, which is $20. No,
Did you say you can get extra rugs too?
yeah, they make their own rugs at Cintas, and he even told me that, there's a little extra cost in the beginning, but we could have them logo and put Clearwater Township on the rugs, whatever we want.
For real?
Yeah.
Wow.
And, we'll, have to go into this a little further, but it seemed to me like it was a pretty good deal. I'm thinking that I'm ready to make a motion that we, switch to Cintas and their new program and, do away with the Continental Linen Service thing. I noticed that the post office is now using Cintas and the school over here is, so I think the word is getting out that, as far as governmental agencies, Cintas is gonna be, probably a monopoly soon. So I will make a motion that we switch from Continental Linen Service to Cintas, at least for the services that we're using now. If we want to further discuss, purchasing some of these logo rugs or whatever, at another time we can do that, but I would at least like permission to switch services there.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay, we, a few months back, made a, discovery of this, it's called VMware, that we were paying for through Centaurus, our IT company. And we got because we decided not to renew that, which when I talked to Centaurus, when we were discussing that, they said it would, just continue to be on our server and not be updated. And we would not have to pay anymore, but I got a very harsh letter from a company called from where is it here? Broadcom.com. And they asked us to cease and desist using that software on our server completely. So I kind of did some inquiry and I tried to find out what is this stuff for, right? When I was told that it is a virtual computer that is loaded onto our server, and rather than loading software on computers, they can load it onto that virtual computer that's on our server. And he said, we don't even have anything in there loaded on it right now, so we weren't even using it at the beginning of it, so. It is now on its way off of our server, and we shouldn't be hearing any more cease and desist letters for that, so just.
Is Centaurus removing its own?
Yes, I've contacted them and, David Smith is, working on it, but he assured me that he will have it done in a day or so, so.
And then will be notified that he's removed it, or?
He's gonna notify me and provide the information to the Broadcom company, yes.
Is that something that they can do remotely, or do they have to come into it?
I believe he can just do it remotely.
Awesome.
Okay, moving on to old business. Patriot Park lease dissolvement, contacted the Parker Harvey firm, again. One of the individuals was, away, but I'm assured that when he returns, he's gonna provide me with a report, and I will forward that to Parks and Rec and Dave, and whoever else is interested there, myself too, but, I know the last correspondence that I had with them, they had sent the quitclaim deed to terminate the lease completely with the Michigan Heritage and Research Foundation that has had it. I'll just add that similarly, the road commission, who had a small piece property up there, also leased to them. They terminated theirs a long time ago, so. Just waiting on that confirmation that they've been notified and 30 days has lapsed, and I'm thinking that unless they're gonna fight us, and I highly doubt that. I think this should be terminated. I did send the cemetery ordinance on to the attorney for review after we made all the proper corrections there. I received an updated septic ordinance from Sue, thank you very much, and got some clarification on what bodies of water we're gonna be including in that. Skidmog, Torch River, Torch Lake, and Rapid River up to Underhill Road is, I believe, what the current things are. So if the board is considering moving forward with that, I'm gonna need a motion to send it to the legal for a review, or if there's further discussion or whatever, I'm all ears. Any discussion on that? What step we wanna do here?
I'm ready to see it sent to the attorney. I was ready when I first got it.
Okay, is that something we need to vote on, or?
I'd waste some more time.
So when yeah.
Okay.
I have to say, you know, myself, I want to protect the water. I want to,
As we all.
I want to be in the right place with that, but by the same token, this is gonna cost our residents considerable, you know, coinage out of their pockets when they.
Well,
stay
and
on
I
the
spoke
property.
with Lee Bus today too, and his feeling is if it's, needs to be township wide, if it's gonna be. And he has everything covered that's in the ordinance. The only thing that could be any better I got from him is the ordinance or a septic ordinance could be inspection at point of sale. Because that's not an issue for this grant. Did we have a public hearing on it?
We're supposed to, we're gonna invite legal us.
Right. This first I've heard of, I'm sorry, I might be out of touch, but when we're gonna pass something that is a quote legislative act.
We're not ready to pass it.
No,
We're
no,
ready
no.
to send it to the attorney.
Right, but you know, it's a legislative act according to Frank Kelly, right, Attorney General said. So when we do that, we really have to have some type of hearing to let the public know or to make you do something, spend your property money or time or make drawings or point of sales. But I never heard of any meeting on it, the first I heard of it, so I believe it should be set for potential public hearing. Where the public's input, the experts, the excavators, the homeowners, all to come and voice their opinion. I'm not sure, we just changed it, now we're looking at adopting something. I'm not saying it's wrong, I've never seen it, I'm 100% in favor of saving our water and the environment. But
Procedure.
there should be
I invited Lee to our meeting tonight. He said it was too short of a notice.
Sure,
but
sure.
to talk to him again. And I've worked hand in hand, you know, working for the excavator.
Yeah.
I've worked personally with Lee. It's very, very knowledgeable.
Sure.
Well, we did talk at our last meeting.
Yeah,
about-
that's not a public hearing, though. Public hearing is posted for a
No,
specific
that's what I'm
thing.
talking about. That's what we talked about doing and inviting him to speak to the public,
Yes.
to the community,
Mhm.
so people could ask questions.
Well, do we want to set a public hearing before we send it to legal? If that's, I mean, I'm open for suggestions.
You don't want two lawyer bills, do you? How about one?
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's why we need to spend good.
Um. Well,
I'm just stating in our meeting, we discussed that, we discussed having something open over at the township hall and having people come in from the community and discuss it, and we were gonna invite the gentleman from the, health department to come and speak to the community.
yeah, I think that should be promoted as a public hearing. And I'm all for that. You know, the more input that we get from the public, who is the people that will be living under the ordinance.
Well, and the more informed people in the public, the less,
Upset.
upset the people are in the public.
May 2nd.
Yes.
I think we discussed like in May for doing that.
Yeah,
In our
we-
meeting.
Yeah, when people get back.
discussed it, but we got back this number.
Was it May 2nd?
Yeah, Saturday, May 2nd.
Yeah.
That's short-term rental one.
I think it was a-
Well, we could,
Wasn't that in the minutes?
yeah, it wasn't me. I'd be okay with that. I know the short-term rental one is gonna take some time. People, we might even have to have a second one.
I think we should have it for both. We should have people
I mean, it's really related.
in that they have the information. I mean, as far as water rate, we could have enough, you know, people, that are well informed, that are going to want to, you know, protect, you know, our water rates.
They are similar. I mean, there's restrictions in the short-term rental thing about septic and stuff too, so I mean, there's.
I think they were working on that. I think it was the distance. So was
Yeah.
it the distance between the short-term rental and was like the 500, was it 500? Was there a?
That's the one-time inspection and the septic ordinance is 500 feet from the water's out of the body of water. Jim described what those bodies of water.
Okay, and it's the same in the short-term rental, is the 500?
It's the same inspection, it's different requirement,
Okay,
but it's the same inspection, they're all the same inspection as what the health department calls the point of sale inspection.
okay,
It's all the same inspection. It's not it does cost a little money, and I'm gonna say it's in the few $100 range. It's not overly expensive, but there is an expensive.
And they cancel each other out if you're within a certain time frame of having had an inspection, so there's no duplicity.
okay.
Is this on the website?
I believe so.
I didn't put anything on the website, so. I agree with that.
Short-term rental. I think I did put that on. Did I say?
Yeah, please, sir.
You don't have that?
Well, it should be not, that should be.
We will make sure it is. Question.
Could I just add something to that, Jim? You know, part of the purpose of the septic, ordinance proposal is, well, there's a number of purposes. But one is just obviously to protect the quality of the water, but there's an estimate within the state that they estimate close to 25%, in 20 to 25% range of existing, septic systems are either failing or have already failed. And we're 100% septic system here in the township, so the water is going someplace that it probably shouldn't be affluent, that it probably shouldn't be going. So these people through this inspection, and they have 3 years to have this inspection done. So through that inspection, they will know and maybe possibly be able to start planning for their system may not get failed. If it's failed, you know, because it's backed up from the house, but if it's failing or near failing, they will know and they'll have time to to plan that replacement, because it's coming. I mean, when it comes, when it fails, now it's an emergency situation.
A perfect example is probably the Potomac River right now, right?
Yeah, so,
25%.
but there's monies available from the state to help replace those systems too, for people that are in need of that. So it gives them a time frame to work with, instead of it being an emergency that's dumped on them when it fails. And the other thing that I will point out is that data that we collect from that is maybe the impetus that we have and use to get some money to start a municipal system. So it's collecting data for the future too. So it's not just, not trying to punish people at all.
Yeah.
But it's looking out there 20 or 25 or 30 years and what's happening with these systems and where we might go with that and what they're doing to the water supply. And on the backing away from the township wide thing, it's not a bad idea, but if you include that 500 feet from those bodies of water, you're dealing with about 30% of the residents in the township, so. By going township wide.
Lee also stated,
Yeah.
and I asked, he's the man to ask.
Yeah, right.
He said that District 10 doesn't have the time nor the manpower to enforce anything besides what they're already required to enforce.
Right. So District 10 wouldn't be sending out any of the notifications that would all come through the township with some help of the committees. And there is no enforcement authority either from District 10 or from the township through this ordinance to force somebody to replace a system that's deemed to be failing, When it fails, you're gonna have to replace it, but there's no, if we get a report back that says their system is failing, we can't do anything about it, we can't force them, and neither can District 10 force them to put in a new system. But it's data that we'll have, looking to the future. So
I think that would be great information for people that aren't either on the owl or here at our meetings, like a public forum, where people can ask those questions. And like you had said, there's funds available for the state where people can, find out how they would be able to access those funds if their system was to fail. I think that would be the public forum. I don't see it as punishment. I think it's informing people, so there's not that.
thank you for the time.
This is not,
One more point, if I may, as well. We're looking at one of our problems we have in Clearwater for the last 20 years is enforcement. We've not thrown the appropriate amount of funds at it, or we've had the turnover, or we've had lack of paperwork behind somebody that is supposed to be enforcing the good book. So what we have here is we have a revenue problem too. So why wouldn't, if this thing passes, which if it's appropriate, it will. You gotta have somebody potentially from your own township to inspect, potentially a position back to the
Certified inspector by the health department.
Absolutely, but those classes are nothing to take.
No.
So you could literally potentially have somebody on the board, maintenance man, zoning person, whoever, the enforcement, back to the public health safety of the township. Somebody assigned, and that could be a process that you generate $200 an inspection. It's no different than your short-term rental. There's supposed to be some inspections coming with them. Nobody knows who's gonna do it. Well, that's crazy. That's a tiger with no teeth. That's our problem. Thank you.
Just one more comment since the door is wide open. I'm a little taken aback. I've met with Mr. Buzz twice in person, and I've been online with him no less than 3 times, and at every corner, he has talked about whether the trustees would be amenable to him assigning functions outside of District 10, and throughout the proposal, it talks about District 10 will do this, or they're approved. I don't know if they call it an assignee or whatever term he used.
The licensed certified inspector.
Yeah, he had terms that he wanted in there. So I was led to believe all the way along that, he he's the guy.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be able to do the one-time inspections all at once, but knew that he could get, or knew how he could get, as long as the trustees would agree to it, and it's in the proposal. So if it got passed that way, it would, to be able to hire that function out. We didn't go into this blindly. And, yeah, and I worked with him at every corner. And he has rewritten sections to make sure that it did meet his, they weren't discussions, he just asked me if I could change this, and I just said yes. He's the implementer, and I think implementers are very.
Well, that's what because I asked him specific, and he said, yeah, I advised her,
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
and.
absolutely. So, I mean, to be clear, right now, the county has a point of sale. This ordinance tightens that a bit in terms of what the exceptions to that are. The county had a list as long as my forearm of all the things that could happen to you, your dog died or something, and you didn't have to have an inspection because of that. We did tighten that down. Then it's the one-time inspection for waterfront properties. And then in the short-term rental, if that passes, then that also has an inspection. But like I said, those things are all canceled. They cancel each other out if that inspection has happened in any of those venues within the last 5 years.
And also stated was, you can have a good inspection, somebody driving over your pipe, something. You don't know there's a problem until there's a problem. So, and he said in that case, he said that, if somebody sneezes wrong around the water, I have 7 calls on Tuesday about it. That's lead word. So if somebody smells a bent pipe that's working, I get a call. So.
Mr. Supervisor, just from zoning, we're making a valid point right now. We're discussing it. I think we need to have a I'm not saying I'm for it or against, I'm just saying we need to address this in discussion with the public and the board.
I think she should go and speak at it too as well. Any answer questions?
I think we'd be smart to have a public hearing prior to sending it to legal. We have currently May 2nd on board for short-term rentals. There's, any number of other dates on there. We can have another public hearing, schedule it right now, if like, and. You got to get their hand up.
Benjamin
Benjamin?
and Dan.
Yep. How's everybody doing? I just wanted just a quick chime in here on the septic. I first want to say all about keeping the lake's integrity and all of that. Just to I just wanted to chime in on a couple things. First is a comment, second maybe just an open question or a question that is not, might come off negative or whatever, but that's not my intent. I genuinely am just looking for an answer. But the first thing to Dan Packer there made I think a statement about that there's state money available if whatever the septic is. There's state or federally, there's backed loans that are at a set interest rate that you have to go through certain people that can come out and redo your septic. There's not money available. There's back loans if you qualify. So the cost is the cost. You still got to pay it plus interest, but there isn't money available. That's first thing. Second thing, Sue, Kelly, I know, and this is just me gathering information. You, I think we're all in agreement. Septic. I just for crossing off, maybe thoughts that I have. Do you have whomever, if these things do get put in place, there's going to be a lot of business generated for surveys and septic people, and I'm just wondering if you have family members or people that are going to benefit from that, because I know at planning commissions and other meetings, you have really been pushing that. It would affect me in multiple different ways. So I'm just curious on that.
Hey, Ben, I'm gonna shut you off here because it's really not public comment time, but I appreciate your comments.
Sorry. Yep.
But no, it's fine. We're gonna move forward though. Okay, are we gonna set a date for the septic ordinance?
I think we should include it in May 2nd.
Think so too.
I don't
I
know,
agree.
well, I do see that they work together,
Yeah,
but,
they're gonna hold.
when you do the short-term rental ordinance, I can tell you from past experience, you're gonna have a lot of people with a lot to
We need
say.
a lot of people.
Yeah,
at these public
It's true, I'm just saying, if you do one and you spend all that time with everybody having a lot to say, you're gonna try to
Well,
fit two in, you're gonna take
If schedule
a long
two,
time.
it's gonna go to the short-term rental, and then we're gonna have like our dam was
Yeah.
4 people show up. So I really think we need to make an all-day deal out of it.
The only thing I would add is I think on your STR one, it was going to be the forum and not a public hearing. So you would be having a forum and a public hearing, not 2 public hearings, correct? There we go.
Well, each one would deserve its own public hearing, so we would have to
Right, but-
carry out one and then cease and continue with the second one.
Right, but I think when you scheduled the STR one on May 2nd, it was for a public forum, not for a public hearing.
Mhm.
It's,
It's slightly different.
they're separate things, separate required.
Public hearing is official,
Correct,
forum is,
correct. That's all I wanted
Yeah.
to point.
well,
I don't oppose a forum for, because we did that about anything. We're gonna have the people coming in and hearing.
I definitely think we need to solicit input for both. I just don't know if we should do it at the same time. I think short-term rental is gonna be, it could be an all-day thing all on its own. So I guess if I'm gonna be the one that has to make motion here, I'm gonna make a motion that we set another date. Other than May 2nd for the septic ordinance for public hearing. I just don't think we can do both at the same time and be fair to either. Yes, we'll take it one at a time. It's my opinion.
Are you proposing a date?
Well, I'm looking here, I see. Um. You know. I don't think we should do it before May 2nd.
I agree.
Further on in the month, you know,
Let's do it May 16th. Get out there.
okay, well,
I mean, it really,
and the 21st is our regular meeting.
Yeah, I was thinking, what about the 9th?
we want to do 2 weekends in a row.
Well, the other thing is if we do it on the 16th, you got the meeting on the 21st, right afterwards.
When is the cleanup day?
It's what,
When is the cleanup day? Isn't that usually
May
the
2nd, or it could be the 9th too. I have conflicting letters from GFL on that, so I have an email that says the 2nd. Now I have a letter from them that came in the mail saying the 9th. We did this similarly last year too. We changed our flyers a number of times, but their date confusion was one of the reasons.
That being the case, 16th
For the 16th, yeah, is it May 16th work for anybody else? Or Memorial and more summer. The short-term rental forum on May 2nd. I don't believe we ever set a time.
No, we didn't.
No, it's not, you know.
Right, so what is the time frame you wanna do that? It's a Saturday. Before, well, here's a thing, we have gymnastics. Generally on a Saturday, they end at 2. Actually, they end about 1, but.
Our girls are going to volleyball, they lose.
So I would think, 3 PM to 5. For the forum on May 2nd. And on the 16th, we can do the same thing, it's also. Said, I suppose you need to look at the township. Website calendar, make sure there's no conflict before we set that.
Final term.
Well, first check May 2nd, 3 to 5 PM, I'm pretty sure
That's separate piece. Volleyball, they do.
They don't come until 6 in or about that,
Four.
Okay. How about the 16th, same kind of thing, probably.
Exactly.
What about this, what if we went 2 to 4 for both of them?
That gives them enough time to break down their equipment.
Yes, yeah, it's all good about that too. So if we went
Yeah,
to
that would be after lunch before
2 to
dinner.
4, okay?
That's better.
Yeah.
3 to 4 on the
2 to 4 on the 2nd and on the 16th. Okay,
This is,
so that was a motion.
this is, it doesn't have to be a motion for setting the meeting.
Good.
I'm setting the dates.
Okay,
Alright, so that is the time set 2 to 4.
2 to 4, 2nd and the 16th. Okay, the Verizon cell phone tower people. From Tennessee, Chattanooga, Tennessee, came and paid us a visit here a couple weeks ago. And, they have. Toured and looked at. Our 40-acre piece of property over on Schneider or Round Lake Road and Schneider Road area. It's listed. The owner as Clearwater Township School. There's a good. Big question mark there, what exactly that means. I'm thinking that the. Rapid City School was sold to Kalkaska. School system back in the 60s. But I do not believe that outlying properties, and that's one of them, there's another one at the end of Rapid City Road. M72, I do not think that those were part of the property transfer at that time in the 60s, but we're looking into it. We've got, a couple people interested in finding that out, but, I for one would like permission to, have that property be considered if in fact it is ours to do these, particular location. They're looking for, again, still a similar footprint. He said 75 to 100-foot square fenced in area with a 2-track road access. And, I think on our 40-acre parcel, we, could very well find that, but, rather than just tell him no, I would like the board's permission to further investigate the ownership of the property and the feasibility of that location.
That's what they're gonna pay us for it.
Yep, the $85,000, consideration was, still on the table.
That's
I
a
think
good
it
one.
should be paid for, usage that goes through that network.
How do you determine that?
Well, they know what goes through. Per gig or phone call or text or we can't just take their first offer. We have
First
to
off,
negotiate.
she's 75.
Yeah, well, we have to negotiate and retell.
Yeah, I'm not saying we're proving anything
Yeah,
at this point.
yeah, no.
I don't
Just saying
tend
we have
to have the answers. I'm seeking permission to look into the
Oh,
feasibility.
absolutely.
So if there are any objections to that, I'm just gonna continue to do research on the property and, take it, see how it comes at. So.
Because we have another parcel up on 72.
That's correct. That's great. Okay, so, I'll try to have some definitive answers on the ownership of that property at the next meeting. Okay, we discovered that there wouldn't be an election in May, so there was no need to, get the language for the Parks and Rec millage renewal. We also have, one of our fire millages, possibly both of them, we're starting into that. Will also be expiring this year, so we were gonna get both of those languages onto, I believe, the August or November ballot. And, just need to get, our legal people working on that. Assuming that this board wishes to renew both of those.
Yes, please.
Okay, new business. Ice rink is operational. It has been used a little bit. During the spaghetti dinner, the Heritage Festival Committee's spaghetti dinner on Valentine's Day, there was, I don't know, probably 6 or 8 people got use out of it.
We were there, the ones in the afternoon just before the spaghetti dinner.
Okay.
We're the first customers for the spaghetti dinner too.
All right. Well, here's another date we have to. And this one is coming up on us quick. I'm working with Carol and from Plant Moran, with all the confusion and, bad numbers that we've had. The budget's kind of been pushed off a little bit, but, we still have a little while. We need to. We need to have a meeting and work on it. Back here. Thinking that ideally, the end of February, sometime very close to the near future here, we should plan to do that. There's a special meeting on the 21st with the planning commission. Our regular meeting is the 19th. We're here right now.
Let's do it next Thursday.
That worked for me.
So next Thursday, it's not like a lot going, I don't know what everybody else. But
26th of February. You checking the calendar?
That's going to.
And I'm free during the day too, so at least, okay, so.
Okay. Well, she's checking the availability of 26th for you guys.
Nothing but senior cards in here.
Okay. Saturday.
I mean, I personally would, but I can make about anything.
Earlier time.
There's a birthday party here
On the 28th.
on the 28th, yes. Are you before?
The little morning meeting will work on the 28th. That's the last day of the month. Technically, we approve the budget 30 days before the first day of our fiscal year, which is April 1st. That would work if we can actually approve the budget on that date.
Is there any feelings?
No, and Carol is assuring me that we'll sit down a couple times and we'll have it. you know, the departments is what we're looking at, we have every single line item for, so, you know, we don't have that many when you break it down in that way, so I think we can do it in a one setting. I'm okay with the 26th or the 28th.
So what would be the time on the 26th?
My question,
On Thursday.
The only day I can't is on Tuesdays. I
Okay.
can't do evening meetings, but I can. I'm available.
all right, well, is there a preference, 26th, 28th?
The 26th or the 28th works fine. I just would not be available until after that, maybe. 26th.
Okay, 28th was the birthday party, you said? What about 10 a.m. on the 28th?
Yeah, very good.
Birthday party was at noon?
Yeah.
Well, I think about 9.
9 works.
Well, yeah.
9:30.
About 9 a.m. on Saturday.
Yeah, I can make myself here. Or you guys could just go ahead with that.
Right. Okay, 9 a.m. budget meeting it is, 28th. Okay. Next item on the agenda here is the discussion about the potential office administrator position. I'm still willing to carry out these, duties for a little while yet, but I'm kind of wearing thin a little bit, so I will gladly entertain, you know, maybe that's something we can look at into the next fiscal year possibly. We can discuss it at the budget meeting if there's room for it.
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to bring it to people's attention that, you know, at some point we're gonna have to do something there. I know there's also been some mention that, our deputy clerk is, as in the past, is willing to take on some of those duties, so, not incorporate them into her duties, but take them on as a office administrator paid position. So,
We would be putting up, you know, an advertisement for people to apply for that.
that's something open for discussion. I mean, if we have a person that's already, you know, familiar with the office and working in there on a daily basis, I don't know. You know, we didn't put a ad out when Margaret did it.
I would like to relinquish the cemetery in the webpage, which I haven't done. I mean, I've gone through it and stuff, but yeah, so that would be good.
Okay. Again, at the budget meeting, I think that'd be good time to hash that out, if that's agreeable. Okay, there's been some mention, at Parks and Rec and maybe other boards and commissions and that, about the possibility of getting a device that will transcribe minutes as people speak or whatever. There are these AI devices now that will literally write down every word said in the room. Or, you know, just emotions that, and I'm not familiar with these, devices, but I'm told that they can do wonders and.
Apparently, if you turn the closed captioning on YouTube, you can play the YouTube video into like ChatGPT and it'll transcribe it. Just
Interesting. I'm sure there's a lot of techie things like that out there.
we don't have, but we can't like, it has to, I think it has to be turned on this end because I can't turn it on.
Okay, well, again, something for our budget meeting to, maybe take on either and we've had these in the past, a recording secretary or one of these devices. I have no idea what they cost and, you know, I don't know how to run one. But, maybe that's something we can also discuss at the budget meeting.
There was a little discussion with the State Department of Treasury about that, just
I
for
did.
a quick minute. They're
Yeah,
like,
I did.
yeah, but people don't read them, and then they don't say what they think they say, because it just interprets what people are saying, and you got 15 people talking over each other.
Closed captioning does not always
No.
print out right either, yes. But okay, we'll pick that back up at the budget meeting. We're running a little late here, so I don't wanna take us too long. We have a franchise agreement sent to us from Great Lakes Energy. And their True Stream system, they've
Fancy the internet.
been, bringing it into the township at different levels and that, and they have sent us, and I'm pretty sure you have a copy of it.
Did you skip the discussion or decision to seek alternative legal counsel, or did I just miss it?
Who said that?
I and the call our attorneys.
Indeed, okay, yep. Yeah, I've heard this from individuals on the board in different capacities and stuff that, you know, maybe we should take and make the effort and find us a actual municipal attorney. I've had several of them recommended to me. I know right now Cold Springs Township and Excelsior Township are using Fahey Schwartz. I see this firm regularly, at MTA conferences and training sessions and that. They're generally the ones teaching the classes to everybody.
No, I'm waiting.
Oh, okay.
I'll wait for you to finish.
Well, you know.
I'm shaking on my knees. I'm freezing, shaking.
Okay. So, this is, I put this on here to, you know, feel out the board. Do we want to, you know, keep our existing attorneys, Smith Johnson and Traverse City, which are not municipal lawyers? And Dan and I was on a conference call with Janine Sasa as well. With him, when we were asking him some questions about the short-term rental, and he said, well, I think I have some downstate lawyer friends that maybe could help you with that. And I'm thinking, well, why are we talking to you if you're gonna be telling us to go talk to somebody else? Now, that's not to say that he doesn't have some good legal advice, because obviously, he is a lawyer and he has helped us in the past on many things, but I just don't know if it's the right choice, and we're making a lot of changes. I'm thinking maybe this is another one that would benefit the township down the road. You know?
And pay for knowledge and degree.
So, Jim, I did talk to the attorneys today, because I'm still trying to get an answer that I asked back in November about the
Education thing,
Mr. Burnett is no longer there,
right?
so they put us back to Mr. Weirda.
Right.
He doesn't have time to talk about it. I called MTA and they gave me some attorneys that, and I forwarded it to the treasurer, gave us some attorney list. Smith and Johnson are actually on that list as municipality attorneys, but I don't know. I think it's kind of crazy. Well, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's kind of crazy that it's been since November. I asked the question. I mean, I was patient, but we need an answer.
Yep. It's my recommendation that we, look into, and it doesn't necessarily have to be Fahey Schwartz. I just threw that out there because it's one that's worked for a lot of, you know,
Done several with their trainings.
community. People recommend them. When I say, hey, we're not real happy with our attorney, the first thing I hear is Fahey Schwartz. Micah Myers is another one, but they're extremely pricey.
We're not Micah Myers.
Yeah, so, you know, I'm not necessarily saying that we, should bail on, you know, especially we have been working on alley issues right now. There's some thing with BP is, you know, significantly trying to settle the alley issue down in their area down there. You know, they're hoping at some point to expand and put a new facility there, but again, this may be something for our budget hearing. know, whether we want or not, I think it's probably appropriate to discuss it at budget.
I want to contact you, just go down and then if I have something for you. We'll come back.
Okay, and that's something too, we, you know, can solicit other ones, it doesn't just have to be the pay Schwartz people, but. Okay, back to the franchise agreement for, Great Lakes Energy's last through screening. You have it, oh, you do have it. I put a copy of this in everybody's, mailbox, I don't know, about a week ago, and I saw that you guys had to check your mail now just a little bit, so I brought these to the meeting, so that we would all have them, but I know you haven't, or at least you two have not had a chance to look them over. It seems, again, to me, just reading it as a layman, that it appears to be very forward. They offer in several areas, you know, that they're not diminishing our right to change or
Do we have a current agreement with them or no?
well, that's one of the questions I have on my list of things for them was, when does the current one expire?
Well, if they want to for 30 years, then we can't legally do
Well,
That's what I was gonna say too, it needs to go to the attorney.
that's fine. And yeah, that's really a lot of them. It should be resolution. So yes, again, I'm in total agreement that maybe the lawyer should take a look at this and. No need for us to sign at this point, like, again, in the letter that they sent. One of the first sentences in there, he says that it's not currently expired, but. Will be shortly, so it didn't tell me the date or, you know, any kind of time frame, but. It's coming
I
and.
have to check my files, cause I don't remember seeing anything about that
Well,
in our file.
if there is one, I'm positive that it doesn't say. Internet services, because Great Lakes Energy has just started this with TrueStream in the last year or so, so if we have an agreement, it doesn't include.
Yeah, not that.
So I will get a copy of this to our attorney for.
It's all about our charter problem,
Take a look.
negotiation.
Yeah. So we're gonna pass on that, Jim, pass. Get that to the lawyer, and the last thing before, we have some closing comments, is we have a resolution to adopt meeting dates for the next year, next fiscal year. Everybody got a copy of this, and, I don't think that there was a single month where there was a conflict with a holiday this year, so these are all the Thursday dates of the next year. Between April 17th and March 19th. And also, in addition to that, we have changed. This one, for some reason, says still at 7 PM still, I don't mind, so 8 PM. I'm not, the one I printed up to sign, I wrote 6 on them, so. The board state.
Your dates on here are from 2025.
What does that be? No, I mean, I updated all that. This is yeah, this is not the version, not the version that,
Oh, we better not go.
Whoops,
no,
where's the version?
We do have some, 2026 dates on here, but.
yeah.
You know what, I pulled this off the board that, I
Ah,
thought that was the one that you posted.
okay,
That's
no,
not
it's
it.
not.
Did you
No,
email
this
it?
is last year's. Yeah, because this says resolution 2 of 25.
I didn't even
That
look
is
at that,
not
I
it.
just saw, oh, meeting times.
Mhm. Yes, this is not it, but I did email it to everybody, so it should be in an email too. Well,
Good thing you started that bucket in the 9 o'clock, it's an extra hour.
Well, the first thing I noticed on here was the time was wrong, and I didn't even see all the 2025 dates. This is literally the resolution from last year.
Yes, it is. I'm sorry, my fault. Is that there? I don't see it. Really.
Well, that's too bad. And, maybe I do. You do?
How about that?
What's Fridays?
We do have it?
Yes,
Yeah.
I printed these up for the packet, and I brought them down to give them to her, and she said, oh, I've already got all these in the packet. So these have all the correct days at 6 P.M.
She did, she had what I gave her.
Okay. All right, well, looking at that again then, as you can see, all the dates are there and they all show 2026. How about that?
And, nothing
Nothing,
conflicts with any holidays.
I
or
did not,
anything
I
like
went through my entire calendar, no, there's none.
that? Okay, good.
So, without any further ado, I would like to make a motion that we pass resolution number 2. Establishing all of our 2026 fiscal year meeting dates, and note that we are changing the time to 6 P.M. For all, and that will be the planning commission, all of our committees, and I think we're all at 6 P.M. now, is that correct? Okay, well, beginning April 16th, this will be the first one we do at 6. So March meeting will still be 7 o'clock.
It's a resolution, not a motion.
Yes, resolution, and that was it.
You said I make a motion. Oh,
I made a motion that we pass
we'll
resolution.
adopt the resolution.
Okay, if you'd like, I can read this real quick, it's not that. All right. Okay, be it resolved that this resolution adopted on February 19th, 2026 is properly adopted by the Clearwater Township Board.
As soon as you have a second.
Okay, who is wanting to second that?
I'll second
I think we need a roll call, don't we?
Yes.
Okay.
David Foss,
it. Yes.
Michelle Jackson,
Yeah.
Bob Underhill,
Yes.
Christine Johnson, yes. And Jim LaFew.
Yes.
Now you can.
Motion is adopted. And that brings us to closed session if requested. I don't think we have any items we need to go to closed session for. So we will have board member closing comments if there are any.
I just have one and I make it really brief. So just to go back to our January board meeting. My only question was to get clarification because of the transition between Margaret and Jenny, and not as anything disparaging to them, just for clarification. So I just wanted to be on the record that. Thank you. Oh, I have one other thing. Jenny, do you still need the card?
Yes.
Oh, please.
Andrew had a comment that he wanted to share. If I can get back up there,
There was somebody with a hand up on it a minute ago too.
Oh, listen, hold on. Andrew said township cleanup date is set for May 2nd at 7 a.m. to noon at Heritage Park. GFL says they will do their best to send us 5 trucks, but they don't guarantee it. They bid by the yard, not by how many trucks, and we'll try our best to cut down the wait times from last year. GFL contact says they will be on location for a short period to make sure things run smoothly. And it was changed to the 2nd from the 9th, so that's why that one's at the 9th. And he also said that Bob, he would like you to send in contact information for scrap metal.
Okay.
And he also offered to help with the website issues. So he's willing to do that. And then I want to say there's somebody else with that. There was a lot of comment this time.
See that?
Yeah. I think that's it.
Okay, any other board comment or public comment? All right.
There are public comments, waiting on Zoom.
Okay, why don't we go to them first?
David?
Yes, hi. Am I coming through okay this time, Jim?
Yes, sir.
Okay. For the meeting on the septic, I might not be able to attend, so I'd like to mention something for everybody to think of over the time that passes. You know, the drafted ordinance for the septic actually comes with the best intentions, right? I get it. I think we all get it. The intentions are of the best nature. However, there's a dilemma in it really unfortunately doesn't achieve what is intended to be achieved. You know, Ms. Kelly mentioned in previous meetings what would constitute a failure of a septic system would be simply, and I'm paraphrasing and I welcome to be corrected, but basically the backing up of the septic into a home, the failure of a pump, which has septic backing up out of the tank into the yard, or effluent coming out of a field. Those 3 things alone constitute a failure of a system. Anything that's subjective is not anything that the health department or the township would be able to regulate. Whether a septic system is working great, good, okay, or minimally doesn't really matter. So ultimately, you have people within 500 feet of water that you're going to have them pay $500, $600 for an inspection that if they have septic backing up in their home, they're going to call for help. If they have effluent in their yard out of the tank and their pump's not working, they're going to repair it. And it's already going to cost them $1,000 to $2,000. If it's coming out of their field, they're not going to live with that. They're going to call for help. So having everybody pay $500, $600 to get an inspection to tell them something that they'll already fix on their own is a waste of taxpayers' money. And taxes are already very expensive as it is. An inspector, even if granted, knighted or whatever you would like to call it, for lack of a better word, by the health department, they might recommend that this is updated or this is changed or you do this, but short of a failure, there's nothing that is going to be done and the health department is going to do. Anything subjective is not enforceable. So while the intent is very good, it's just another cost to the taxpayer, unfortunately. Another quick comment. for those of you that are not aware, there is a nuisance ordinance, number 16, that was effective in 1998 that gives John, our zoning administrator, or Jim, our supervisor, or the sheriff department, the right to apply a civil infraction of $100 per day to any nuisance that is listed to include blight, garbage, rubbish, buildings that have been destroyed by fire, don't have electric any longer. It's already in the books. There really isn't any permission requested or needed, and it's $100 per day. I could read it. I have it right in front of me, but maybe everyone might make themselves familiar with Ordinance 16. There's already teeth that we've had for a very long time. And last, we're looking at a lot of things to improve the community, which, a lot of people would have different opinions if that's really true or not. We recently had this data center thing come into Kalkaska County, and just for the interest of maybe everybody, there was a Nightline report about data centers coming into small communities and how they have so much money that can literally overpower a small community and impose themselves. And I find it very interesting. I wonder if we should look at our own situation. I don't know if it's at the county level, or can they come into a township and overpower a small community like ourselves? Should we be looking at that and preparing ourselves and our ordinance in a way that at least shields us from this thing that's trending across the nation? It's a very interesting Nightline report. I'm going to copy and paste the link to the YouTube rerun on there, and thank you all very much.
Okay, Dave, thank you. Thank you. Let's see any other hand though. Anybody else online? Okay, anybody in the room?
Go ahead.
No, elders first.
I heard him really good.
Mhm.
Most of what you're saying, I do not hear really good. And I would ask again that you get the microphones. You can get them for less than $50. Please, because I might not be the only one that's admitting them. My hearing is not as good as it used to be, but it's really hard to say if you're part of it.
Noted.
Again,
Thank you.
Again, yes. Dee?
I'd just like to address Margaret. I'm sorry that she left, but, any confusion regarding the transition timeline for the deputy clerk originated with the clerk's office. The clerk's request described the arrangement as temporary until after Christmas break, with no clearly stated or documented effective date for the actual appointment. Based on that language, the treasurer's office reasonably understood the transition to occur around January 1st. References to February were made solely in connection with an anticipated increase in election activity and the need for additional election assistance, not as a start date for new deputy clerk. At no point was a February transition date clearly communicated or documented. If the lack of clarity has reflected poorly on the clerk, that outcome is the result of vague communication and the absence of a defined timeline. Clear dates, formal appointments, oaths of office, and corresponding documentation are essential for statutory offices, particularly where banking authority and internal controls are involved. It is both appropriate and necessary for the treasurer's office to seek clarification and ensure records, appointments, and authorized signatures are accurate and current. She was within her statutory duty to do that. It was not personal. The board approved, and just now, I want to address something that just happened. The board approved hiring an election assistant at 10 hours per week, but did not set a pay rate or time frame. Without those limits, duration of the position is left open-ended and allows overlap in staffing without clear board direction, particularly given this level of hours has not historically been necessary for this position. So you guys just approved of a position without clear definition of what that position entails. You have 10 hours per week at the discretion of the clerk to have an extra employee. With the pay is not set, a limitation on, and we don't have an election now until August, right? That was just mentioned. So it was approved without guideline, without any extra to define it. That's all.
Question for the clerk, is there a set election worker wages? I know when I was an election worker, everybody was getting the same thing and I just thought it was.
Worker wages are different than an election assistant.
Okay.
Because an election assistant works directly with the clerk in the clerk's office, the election workers work on the floor on election day.
Right.
Those are completely different. As far as wages, Margaret's wages didn't change. She's already a hired employee at a wage rate, so we did not change her wage rate. And, we did say up to 10 hours, and she will not be using 10 hours because she's already done most of the training. She's not been able to walk through an election with Jenny, and that's why we wanted to keep her on staff. But she does not intend to be working. And that's what I said. And if you need a job description, I have an entire manual that's about 6 inches thick for elections. That's her job description. So if you want to read through that, it's in the office.
Any other public comment, Frank?
Who's paying for the survey of the alley?
Who's paying for the survey? We haven't got that far yet. Dean's appearance here today was going to be a proposal as to what it would even cost. We don't know the exact cost yet.
Cool. John, that man that brought up the $100 a day finding, that's what I was gonna say to you. When you wanna get people that just don't give a crap about their neighbors, they're messy, they're pigs, they do what they wanna do. Corporate polluters, they give you the $100 a day and they never fix anything. So if you write a ticket to somebody, if they wanna fight that ticket, do they go to Calcasas?
Yes,
And they would go in front of the judge?
yes.
So our willingness to work with people that way, you gotta bang them hard, 250, 500, you gotta bang them hard. And then say, here's the deal, we're gonna give you a ticket, you clean this crap up in 30 days.
He's already had to address the board.
Oh, I'm sorry, we take, well, it's on the board. Oh, it's not, okay. You clean it up and we'll forgive that fine. Now, when that person goes in front of the judge to cry about his situation, we're actually looking like the good guy. You're right, we don't wanna bag him too hard. If he cleans it up, we'll forgive the ticket. And that's how it works in a lot of places throughout this country, in neighborhoods and HOAs, they don't have to deal with a lot of stuff. To be nice to that person, Mitch, I can see Mitch being pissed off, man, don't get me wrong. But if you bang that guy with a $500 bill and say, I'll give you 30 days, now you gotta clean this up in 30 days. If not, you go to the judge, and the judge is gonna say.
They have to work within our ordinance, and it's spelled out in the ordinance, exactly the steps and the costs and everything.
Well, that's the ordinance that you change.
Well, that's another meeting. Okay,
Yeah, I was
it's not,
saying.
we have an ordinance in place right now, we have to work within that we have right now.
Well, even if you fit.
The ordinance number $1,600 day fine, I'm all for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, the harder you hit them, the more likely they're gonna clean up their yard.
Yep.
If there's some forgiveness.
I got one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
Tires, you're gonna be picking up tires and toxic liquids. Is there a grant for that again this year? I know Calcasas works on it. and-
Conservation District has already talked to us, and everybody got a flyer in the mail from the Conservation District, and it had a date on there for a tire recycling thing. They don't have a location for it yet. I asked Andrew to contact them and suggested us as a location for the tire collection, so. Dan?
Three things real quickly. I have to stand corrected. When I said that there was monies available to help people pay for their systems, Mr. Hoppy is correct. What's available is low interest loans to help people through that process. So
Even zero interest loans, I've seen.
it may be, I don't know what the rate is, it's very low, but it's not handing the people money. It is a loan, so stand corrected on that. As far as legal representation goes, really consider maybe not replacement, legal, but additional. Fahey Schultz, if you believe their website, they pride themselves on serving smaller rural communities like the ones that you mentioned there. And we need, more than ever, we need good, sound municipal, up-to-date legal advice. And I would highly recommend, strongly recommend that you look at Fahey Schultz
Sooner than later.
as a place to go. Lastly, on the recording secretary or the device to record it, absolutely need something like that. Minutes are required by the Opens Meeting Act to be filed within a certain number of days. Just the draft of the minutes, I think it's 8 days. And then after they're approved, there's another short time period from when they have to be posted. And it's absolutely critical that they're not only posted on time, but they're good, accurate, and concise minutes. It doesn't have to be every word that's said, but it has to be very concise about what was said. So strongly recommend that we do that. It's very time consuming, I believe, for the clerk or the planning secretary, ZBA secretary, to go back through that minutes or go back through the meeting recording and write out the minutes. It's very time consuming when they should be spending their time doing other things. Thank you.
So,
Going back to, some financial stuff. Now that we're getting close to the end of the fiscal year, I would strongly suggest that the board take a look at finding a new independent auditor. The auditor that you have has done, favors. And as a professional in that industry, I actually think there was quite a significant lack of professionalism and borderline on certain things that I could file a legitimate complaint against that individual. I don't intend to do that unless I think about it much longer. But I don't think that the township should be utilizing the services of that CPA any longer. So I'd strongly suggest you do that. In addition, I'd like to suggest that you utilize services while they're still, kind of in your hip pocket and making phone calls with them. Plant Moran to do your 941 W3 reconciliation and get that done. You may end up having to reissue some W2s, and that's a very time sensitive issue. And it's not something that you're gonna be able to do quickly. You're gonna have to pay to have somebody do it. They're very well qualified. They're gonna do it. They're gonna understand the urgency on it, and you're gonna get good results from that. Same thing. I don't know if it would be Plant Moran or somebody from BSNA, but you talked about, you've got some accounts in there. You don't know what accounts from QuickBooks went into those. That is all mapped somewhere in that transition. Somebody had to map every one of those accounts into that account on BSNA. So whether it's BSNA who has it, and I think it probably is, all you should have to do is give them a call and say, I need to know the mapping into this account. Whoever did that has that documentation. And it should be absolutely no work on your part, a phone call. Lastly, look into ADP, paychecks, whoever it is you need to do it. It's liability free. I've used them with different organizations. I've recommended them with different nonprofit organizations. They're reasonably priced. They take care of all of your filings. They do your year-end reconciliations. You don't have to worry about it. It frees up your clerk to do some other work. There's always other work, sorry, but you're not gonna get off very easy on that. There's always stuff where she could be spending her time and being more productive. You don't have an accountant on your board.
No.
So don't shy away from getting some quality service. It's worth your money, because look what we're paying for now. Not what this board did, But that doesn't stop the payment from happening. So let's not repeat past mistakes. Thank you.
Diane?
Yeah, absolutely right. But you gotta pay sometimes to get quality. That's just how it is. But you gotta generate them funds. We're about to sign a franchise agreement or looking at it tonight. That thing's massive. They're already in our company or in our township, not paying for their power lines and poles. We have Charter paying 20,000, but no power companies are paying. You're looking at maybe 3 power companies in here. Plus you have other services as well. The gas company, when it came into this township, absolutely lied to the public in this township. And right now, you're locked into a 30-year contract. That was absolutely wrong. And it's wrong. And the trustees, in my opinion, both of you gentlemen are in charge of looking out the statutory role of that money. And we need to seriously look. When they come to you and want a franchise, like the gas company did, that's when we should have said, yeah, hey, no problem. You can use our roads, which are everybody's in the audience and now, and every landowner. But what we want is we want free gas at our fire station, natural gas, and the township hall. And then we'll sign your, not 30-year, but 20-year. We got nothing out of that franchise. I told them, don't do this. They ended up sending it to a lawyer. They got the lawyer cost covered. It was like $300. And we signed it away our rights for 30 years. We get nothing. That should be looked at. That's wrong. So we got all these other public service utilities not paying anything. That's a massive issue. In fact, the funding. This lady just said you need funding. This man that's doing a job says you need funding. We need funding. And that is a massive thing we're stepping over. And I know it's just another problem on your plate, but I have to say thank you guys for putting your time in.
I think the same holds true for that Horizon guy.
Yeah.
Sure does. Get the best you can from him, that's all ACT and all of it. Yeah, there's a whole shopping thing that Verizon. Big monster.
Yeah, I have a couple very quick little comments. Our fire department applied for and received $1,000 grant. Through our insurance company for some safety lights that they bought. And I additionally filed for the reimbursement of the rubber fall material. Their grant for that was up to $5,000, so that is applied for. We should be hearing back from that, I would think, soon.
Good job.
So, that's where we're at with that. That's all I got.
Oh, one more thing, how many employees are affected by the payroll schedule? Whether it be, weekly, monthly, how many employees are affected by that?
There are 4 employees.
Something with the employee, the duties for the employees, the, employees are 5.
45. Thank you. Hello.
Can I ask one more thing? Because something was added after my initial comment with the hourly. As I understand it, as I remember, Jenny was hired in as an election assistant originally at, I believe, $18 an hour. Were you not? I don't remember. It wasn't at $23 an hour.
It was 20.
Okay, so here's the problem that I see happening, not how much anybody's getting paid, but it's how it's going about doing it. So you hire an election assistant at 20, she switches to a deputy, she should get deputy pay. But you're automatically assuming that Margaret can stay at deputy pay. It wasn't presented to the board, it wasn't voted on.
Jenny's pay didn't change either.
So she's still getting paid the 20, but she moved into so you're assigning pay on position, but that is the board's responsibility to do that statutorily.
I didn't assign the pay. I left them at the pay that they were at, but that was already assigned.
You assigned the pay based on their position. So she's now deputy, where the position of deputy was $23 an hour. Technically, she should be deputy pay. So that should be a discussion amongst the board rather than just automatically assuming that this stuff is gonna take place based on the clerk's decision. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a procedure thing that is wrong and it should be handled better.
And Julie, we addressed those at our budget meeting because we addressed them on.
Yeah, you said all our pay scales are paid.
That's why I didn't change it, because I knew we were coming up to budget meeting, and that's when we set our pay rates.
Okay, I'll make the motion, we adjourn the meeting.
Public comment.